Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah.
No time for this intro here.
No,
let's go.
We're going to jump right into a very hot topic that
We've been
stumbled
arguing
upon 5
about.
minutes
Jay
ago.
and Jason are lost in the soup. We'll get to that.
But first,
yeah, sorry.
Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And I want to start the show today with an official declaration. We are now officially on Deshaun Watson watch. The decision could literally come in any second. It doesn't mean it's going to come today. It doesn't mean, but we are officially, because I thought when the briefs said the July 11th deadline, we all kind of figured she was going to take a week, chew on the briefs. But it's been a week. It's July 18th. So we've got 5 people hitting refresh on the internet pages nonstop.
Yes.
So as soon as it's out there, you'll hear it here 2 seconds later.
I saw
Welcome
they put
to
up
the
odds
program.
yesterday, by the way.
What's that?
Somebody put up odds yesterday of who's going to break the story.
I saw that, yeah. We're not discussing that today, though, are we, McNuggets?
No, we are not. But just so everyone knows, as soon as the Deshaun Watson decision does come down, we will be hopping on the UCSS YouTube channel to break it down from
and that means
every
if it's
angle
3 o'clock in the
possible.
afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock at night. It does not matter. We will get as many of us on as humanly possible through some form or fashion, and we will break it down on YouTube just like we did for the Baker Mayfield trade.
Yes.
Do not miss it if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel.
And we'll send out
Subscribe
notifications,
right?
right?
Yeah, it's set on notifications. That's why you have to subscribe.
That's another good reason to go to the YouTube page and hit subscribe. If this news comes down at 3 o'clock, the only way you're going to know that we're on the air talking about it is if you subscribe to the YouTube page. Once you subscribe, you'll get that notification whenever we are going live.
You must hit the notification bell.
Yes, you're right. Please. Yes, subscribe, and notifications. Yeah. All right, everybody have a good weekend?
Great.
Everybody ready to go?
Let's fight.
So we start at the beginning of when the show started, at least in its paper form, we were supposed to talk about any new thoughts about the news that broke late Friday. You weren't here Friday, were you?
No.
Do you have any thoughts on the news that broke? Because the consensus was originally, the way we read it, the start of it, we're like, whoa, this is big. And then came the bombshell at the end that all 4 of the cases against Watson will still go forward. Does this change anything to you?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no.
I think that's what we all said.
No, the Texans wanted out of this as fast as possible.
Yeah.
They settle, they get their name out of it. Busby gets what he wants out of it. This was his point all along, was he's trying to get money.
Is Busby winning the chess game right now?
Oh, for sure.
I feel like he is totally winning the game.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
He got the Texans to write a check. How big? No one knows.
And I'm still not convinced that these 4 cases go to trial. 1 or 2 may. I don't think
No, it's pressure to get them to settle.
I don't think all 4 of these are going to trial.
All right, so then while we're talking about that, we were going to go to the fact that there's a new report out that if Deshaun Watson is suspended, he would miss training camp indefinitely. And then that led us to Mary Kay's report over the weekend that the Browns are still in the market for a backup quarterback. No, I don't think that surprises anybody, because if it's a long suspension.
You only got 2.
And apparently it says that Josh Dobbs is not the backup should anything happen to Jacoby if it's a long-term situation.
Right. Well, I mean,
that doesn't surprise anybody.
No, but I mean, let's put parameters on this. What's long-term? 6 to 8 games.
I think anything over 10.
Yeah, I mean,
Guys, not to cut you off, Jason, but I don't give a crap. We got to get into this argument. I'm shutting you guys all up.
I was going to segue from that because it is part and parcel, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
When the Browns made this move, they made this move to have Deshaun Watson on the field for the bulk of this year.
Yeah.
Or likely it wouldn't have been done. They gave up 3 first-round draft picks. They didn't do that. So, we'll be good in 2023. The clock is ticking. All these other contracts are still going. So the question was, do you still do this trade today if it ends up that Deshaun Watson sits half the season or more? Giving up 3 first-round draft picks, still going all in on Deshaun Watson, knowing that he could miss half the year.
Of course you do, guys. Of course you do. Listen,
there's a huge difference in half the year and a whole year. There's a huge difference.
In the long run, it doesn't matter. The team couldn't win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, with Baker Mayfield, and I think most opinions, especially in this new AFC, which is loaded with great quarterbacks like we haven't seen
in
maybe
the Browns'
forever.
opinion, they couldn't. Or they wouldn't have done this deal.
Exactly. So in the Browns' opinion, agrees with my opinion. It's about time they smartened up.
No, it doesn't. No, they don't. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because if the Browns were concerned if they weren't concerned about a year-long suspension, they would have pursued him before the grand jury came back. They were waiting for a no bill to come back because they were afraid he was going to go on the commissioner's exempt list, which would rule him out for a year.
Fine.
They were waiting for that
Jason,
to be set aside
ultimately,
before pursuing him.
In the end, it doesn't matter. He gives them a chance to win a Super Bowl. Yes, in theory, if they knew he was going to be suspended for a year, maybe you could have gotten a little less. But 4 or 5 years from now, once he gets on the field, whether it's week 5, week 9, week 7, or not till next year, if he plays great here, if they go deep in the playoffs here, if they win the Super Bowl here, you could have given up 15 first-round picks. It's irrelevant. Here's the bottom line. They believe, I believe, G believes, Brad believes, I think you believe, I'm not sure about Jay, believe that the Browns couldn't win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield.
Yes,
Fair?
yes.
They can win a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson. Fair?
Yes.
So then nothing else matters.
No, it does matter.
Nothing else matters.
You're giving up 3 number 1 picks for a dude who's not
So
going to be on
what?
the field this year.
Half the number 1 picks do nothing in the NFL.
If he's out the year and you're 6-11, that pick looks a whole lot more valuable than it would have because you thought you were going to have
So
him
it's
for
going
half
to be
the year
some
of
random linebacker who's not that
Listen,
good. Who cares?
I'll go back to what I said before. If they didn't care about him missing the year, they would have made the trade regardless of commissioner's exempt list. They didn't. They waited for that to be taken off the table.
I agree with you, but in the end, it doesn't matter.
That tells you that they would not have made this trade if they knew he was out for the year. They would not have made it.
They would have made it differently.
As it is
they would have made it
constructed.
differently. They still would have made it.
I said
probably.
Well, that's what we're arguing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't matter,
You
though,
wouldn't
is
make
what
the
I'm saying.
same trade, Bull. You wouldn't give up 3 first-round draft
But
picks.
I'm not going to care. In the end, and nobody else is going to care. Do they win long-term with Watson is all that matters.
Let me jump in here, right? Because I understand what you're saying. I understand what my man Bull's saying. But let me just tell you something, right? I don't, even if he sits out a year, right? The Browns have playing the long game, right? The long game, because do we want him this year? We obviously want him this year to help us, right? Because the team is stacked. We have a window of opportunity. If he has to sit out a year, it's an unforeseen incident. But I don't
Is it
think,
unforeseen?
Yes,
They knew about it.
Because you're playing the dice game here. You don't know how this thing's going to end. Let me just tell you something.
It's not completely unforeseen, Brad. They knew what was on the table.
Here, I told you before the show that we about to get this thing lit. This thing about to get lit, right? Because let me tell you as a player, the Browns have an abundance of talent. They need somebody to get them over the hump.
Right.
Ain't nobody coming to Cleveland.
All those players will be a year older.
Ain't nobody coming to Cleveland.
Nobody? Did Myles Garrett come?
That was the draft. I'm talking
Did Nick Chubb come?
No, I'm talking. No, get off the draft, people.
No.
Get off the draft,
you're
people.
saying.
Get off the
but
draft,
Brad,
people.
You think that you can only build a great team through free agency? That's just not true.
When you need pieces, Jay.
You draft pieces.
No, when you need pieces,
you draft pieces.
You draft pieces, but when you need additional pieces, you have to go to the market to get these pieces.
And overpay more than double what the old high guarantee was?
We're in Cleveland.
So it doesn't matter.
Who's walked through here in Cleveland?
Brad,
who's walked through here?
Brad, you're missing the point.
Who's walked through here in their prime, Jay?
Brad, you're
Nobody.
missing the point. Wait, Nick Chubb isn't in his prime?
He got drafted here.
Okay, so you're making my point.
No, I said
they can't draft a quarterback. Great quarterbacks have never been drafted.
Jay, I need you to hear me.
No,
but the Browns haven't drafted a great quarterback.
Great quarterbacks have never been drafted.
I need you to hear me.
Okay, so that means that one will never be drafted in Cleveland.
So you got to take the track record.
How many quarterbacks has Andrew Berry drafted?
Why am I sitting here talking about draft picks like it's so guaranteed? You ain't drafted not one playmaker. You've never drafted a receiver. Hold on.
They didn't draft Nick Chubb. He's not a playmaker.
I said receiver.
I'm waiting for.
No, you said playmaker.
I said receiver. You don't.
No, you said playmaker.
Listen, you can't get. You haven't drafted. You haven't.
Thank you, Jason.
You have not drafted impact type guys at receiver. You've never had a quarterback.
Wait a minute.
Hold
when
on.
you say never,
you've never.
You can't say never because John Dorsey isn't here anymore.
What I'm saying,
who's the general manager right now?
I'm talking track record.
So
of the
you don't believe Andrew Berry can draft anybody?
Listen, he made the decision. Hey, hold on. Before we we're not about to jump over back and forth. We're gonna get to this point. You ain't never had a quarterback. Y'all sitting around here trying to act like you had one, and now you hold on. Let's change the rules. If we don't go to the Super Bowl, it was all for naught. No, you ain't. Hold on, you ain't never been to a Super Bowl. So if you get to one, that means you did something. You can't say Baker Mayfield should have stayed for a divisional round.
That's a huge if.
But
I'm saying if. You're moving the game piece to
final. But who are they going to draft, Jay? In this draft, there was no good quarterback.
No quarterback.
Wait for get a quarterback.
Hold on. So you guys guys you're saying you've never done it. You've never done it. You can't draft it.
I'm not on the draft.
Do you believe who's our general manager right now?
Tell me just one thing, and I'll leave it alone. What free agent in his prime has walked through the door here in Cleveland?
Andre Rison.
Boom!
That's 30 years ago.
Get off my man, Bad Boom.
Brad, the reason I dismiss your argument right away at jump is because you're operating under the premise that great teams are all built through free agency.
No, they're not.
No,
it's
they're
a
not.
combination of
There's
everything.
3 ways you
Of
can get
course
players.
So here,
There's 3 ways.
When LeBron James was here.
Yes. Well, now you're going to a different sport
hold
where
on.
apples and oranges.
No, because it applies across the board.
Go ahead.
All right?
Go ahead.
I'm a longtime Clevelander.
Go ahead.
It's across the board. LeBron James and the Cavaliers had a window. It looked like it was going to be a long run here, right?
Sure, did.
Still nobody wanted to walk through the door to help them.
When he came back, he wasn't a free agent.
Who wanted to walk?
Is Kevin Love ever in Cleveland without LeBron James?
Let me tell you something.
No.
Let me tell you
Thank
something.
you.
I'm not saying
So I'm
Kevin Love
answering
was.
your question.
I'm not saying Kevin Love was no cream of the crop, top dude, right? I'm talking top dude.
Kevin was.
No, top dude. Just listen. This is not disparaging Kevin. Jay, I've been around top dudes.
Yeah.
He not one of them.
Kevin
All right?
Love
He
at
ain't
the
one of
time.
them. He ain't
Jason,
one of them.
I'll defer to you on this.
He's not one of
Jason,
them.
remind Brad where Kevin Love was when
he
came.
wasn't a top 5 player in the league, but he was a star.
He was a
Jason,
star. It's a
I
bona
played
fide
with
star.
5 of the top 75. Don't talk to me about that.
I just said
5
he's
of the top
not.
75.
He wasn't top 5 in the league.
I'm not saying he was a bad dude. He's just not that guy.
But you know what? You both are wrong on this argument.
Tell us why we're wrong.
Because you're talking about quarterback, the most important position on the field, that these guys don't ever become available. So no one is going to walk through the
and
door.
nobody was.
No.
And who are you
And
drafting?
can't
at
draft
quarterback?
one. You can't draft one where they were drafting. There was none available to draft, and this team isn't built to wait for 2 or 3 years on a quarterback to come.
Agree.
This argument has taken us off track. The fact whether
I'm
you can
not
draft the quarterback or
disagreeing
not
with
is
the fact to
irrelevant.
pursue Deshaun, even if he's out for the year. I'm saying the compensation package would have looked far different if they'd have known he was going to miss this entire year. That's my point.
You're right. I don't disagree with that. However, in the end, if he wins here, if he plays to his capabilities, which is far a million times better than any quarterback the Browns have ever had, then it's irrelevant if you gave up too many draft
How
picks.
can we argue for 20 minutes and all agree? Because we're all agreeing.
Yeah, and that's
at the end, like we're kind of agreeing.
Right?
A million times better than any quarterback the Browns have ever had.
Right.
Yes.
Of the last 20,
Yes.
let's
You co-sign that?
Yes.
1 million times better than any quarterback the Browns have
They have
ever
had some pretty good quarterbacks.
Do not send me
See,
back
it's-
to autogram.
you can't-
Do not send me back to the
I won't.
the
I
black and
won't.
white days. What we doing?
I'll just take the last quarterback. You're saying that he's a million times better
Million
than
times
Baker
better.
Mayfield.
Yes.
Baker's a guy.
Gee, Bush.
Baker's a
I
guy.
don't ever expect you to jump into that kind of hyperbole.
Listen, the hyperbole
Is he better? Of course.
Here's
Is he twice as good?
Yes,
Yes.
5 times
Their
as good.
win-loss records are identical.
It's irrelevant.
Oh, it is.
It's
I thought
irrelevant.
football games were played
because it's
to
not enough of a
win the
sample.
game.
Jay, it's not enough of a sample size.
on.
He
No.
took a bad team to the
A
playoffs
million
2 out
times
of 3
better, and
years.
G. Bush
But-
co-signed.
hey,
I can
hold
flip
on.
that.
Did
Hold on.
this-
Yes.
1
Jay,
million times
Jay,
better.
did Deshaun Watson take a bad roster to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years?
His win-loss record for the career
Jay,
is the
just,
same as
just
Baker's.
answer the question. Did he take a bad team, a bad roster to the playoffs 2
Well,
out of 3
he
years?
had a premier wide receiver.
By the way,
What else did he have?
What
else did he
How
have?
many playoff games has he won?
listen.
One.
How many playoff games has Baker Mayfield won?
One.
But your guy's a million times
Million
better than
times
my guy.
better. Yes.
Can I-
It's
can I-
not even close.
Can I speak to the?
So,
can I speak
The
to the?
wow is that you think
Can
he's
we-
not a
Hey,
million
Steve,
times better.
Hold on.
Steve, we need to focus in on Bull's shirt right
Yeah,
now.
this is it.
Can we-
Focus in on
can
my
we
shirt.
focus in on that?
This is what I say to
We'll
Jay
focus in on the shirt, and then G.
Jason.
Bush has a point to
Hey,
make. G.
1
Bush is dying a
million
hot
times.
beer.
We gotta
Can't argue with dudes like that.
Well,
Yeah, wait a second. Let me just look at my shirt here,
We
G.
can't argue. Period.
It's okay if you disagree with me. I can't force you to be right.
All right,
Let's go.
Here we go. We can't argue.
You're right.
We can't argue if y'all two is now, Brad. What we got? You got something?
Yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I'm speaking for the Cleveland fan. I just want to go to the Super Bowl. That's all I want to do.
That's all I want,
That's
too.
all I want to do.
That's all I
don't
want.
care how we get there.
That's all I
Who gives
want.
you a better chance for the Super Bowl?
I've tried it the other way. We went to the draft, begging people to come to town. This thing don't work.
I'm surprised. I'm really
I'm running out of
surprised at
time,
both of
Jay.
you on one
Running
point.
out of time.
I'm surprised at you on one point.
What's that?
I have complete and total faith in Andrew Berry. And I will tell you that when the whole world was singing that Dorsey was the guy and we finally got our guy, I was still looking at this and saying, there's a lot about it I don't like. There's still a lot about John Dorsey's methodology I don't like. Andrew Berry, I am 1,000% in on Andrew Berry. And to be honest, even though I wouldn't have made that deal, I would not have made the Deshaun Watson deal because I was more of the Kevin Stefanski mindset. I didn't think it had to be made. I didn't. You guys disagree. But on the Andrew Berry front, what put me over the edge being okay with it is I ultimately trust Andrew Berry.
And so do we. So what's the problem?
But you don't if you're sitting here saying that this is the only deal
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Brad said.
I didn't say that.
Brad, here's what you said.
Yeah.
No.
You said that ain't no one walking through that door.
That's true.
But
Now,
But Jay, there was no
know
other
what
option.
Andrew
What was the
Berry-
other option?
Andrew Berry couldn't have figured something out other than completely. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong here.
We're giving you a historical.
There were no good quarterbacks in the draft.
Changed the pay scale in the forever.
Can
in the NFL.
I talk about this?
Did he, Jason?
Can I talk about this?
Well, you can interrupt me, but yeah.
Hey, the pay scale.
Don't be surprised if
I don't understand. He didn't change the pay scale. He changed the guaranteed pay scale.
Why does that
Which
matter?
We don't know if it's changed or not.
Why does
We're
that
not
matter,
going to know
though?
that for another couple
Patrick
of years.
Mahomes is going to make more money than Watson on this contract.
Here's what's going to happen ultimately. I read you guys some numbers about Miguel Cabrera. And the reason I dug these numbers out is because we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Well, here's why it's relevant. It's more relevant in football than in baseball because in baseball, you can spend whatever you want. Okay? You can spend whatever you want. Not in football. In football, you have to be fiscally responsible. There's a salary cap. When the Tigers
Have the
signed-
Rams been fiscally responsible?
Hold on.
Who?
The Rams.
We're going to let him get his money
Yes,
off.
I believe they have.
They
been.
have?
We've been under the cap.
Hold on. We can't switch it. Let him
So
get
the
his money off.
Browns have the most cap space in the NFL.
Keep continue.
You're
Please
right.
continue.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
They did. They don't anymore.
They still
Please-
do.
They're ninth.
Please continue on.
Not on the list we saw today, but go ahead.
No, I think they're ninth in cap space currently.
Go ahead. He's got his facts.
You got your facts. Come on.
So the reason I dug these up for an argument
Yeah.
that we're going to debate, we're going to have later, that was baseball based. But when I was digging these numbers up, I thought, God, this really is maybe one of the best examples ever. And there are others in baseball that I know Jason and you'll know about, Bull. When the Tigers did Miguel Cabrera, they felt at the time that was a deal that was going to get them the World Series. It was going to win them a World Series. In 2016, they agreed to pay Miguel Cabrera $248 million for 8 years.
Okay.
It changed the pay scale in baseball. This is the equivalent to baseball. Because after that, the $30 million deals came fast and furious.
Okay.
And go look and see how many of those have led to World Series titles. But this is what I'm saying about be careful if you think you can spend your way to a title in any sport, particularly where there's a cap, like the NFL.
But the Rams just did it last year.
No, they didn't. They went out and they got the piece that
going.
they needed.
Yeah, a
Keep going.
quarterback.
Right.
What's
Keep
what the
going.
Browns
Right.
needed.
But
hold on.
they didn't change the contract. They didn't change the
when
pay
he
scale
finished,
of the
when
NFL.
he finished, I'm not going to talk about the Rams. I'm going to talk about the Browns. Go ahead.
You talk about the Browns.
All right, go ahead.
When the Tigers did that, they were a relevant team. They were always fighting for a playoff spot. Since 16, they have finished last place 3 times, third place twice, second place once. They've never made the playoffs. Their combined record is 398 and 560.
Okay.
That's a collective 190 games out of first place.
Tigers-
Since they did a deal that changed the pay scale. Now, I'm not suggesting
Wasn't Albert
that
Pujols before that?
Albert Pujols' deal with the Angels with the Angels is the second worst contract.
But wasn't that before Cabrera?
It was. It was
didn't
before
that change
Cabrera.
the pay scale?
No, because Cabrera's changed the pay scale.
Right.
When the Angels gave Pujols all that money, which I would say is probably the second worst contract in baseball history, and there are a lot of bad ones.
No, I would disagree.
But the
go
Angels,
ahead.
what have the Angels done? What have the Tigers done since they spent all that
Well, but
money
the
on one
Dodgers
guy?
spent a ton of money, and they won the World Series.
One time they've had the highest payroll 5 times.
All right.
What do you mean they had the highest payroll 5 times? So,
5 times in baseball they've had the highest payroll.
but the lower payroll teams haven't won any World Series.
Now we're in the minutia. We're in the minutia and the weeds about
Yeah.
baseball payrolls.
Because there is no salary cap in baseball.
Here's your rebuttal.
Yeah.
This is your rebuttal.
Okay,
You say in one sentence you completely trust Andrew Berry,
I do.
except for when he goes and makes a trade.
No.
Hold on. What? Second of all, you tell me about the numbers. You're saying the numbers and these are bad contracts. Let me ask you a question. The person that was the most fiscally responsible person in the game was who? And who created Moneyball? Huh?
Billy
Moneyball's
Bean.
a farce. Don't bring up Moneyball.
No. Who? They got the guy who created Moneyball.
Paul DiPodesta.
In the front office, looking at the numbers.
Moneyball's a farce.
Well, it sounds convenient.
Jason, is Moneyball a farce?
It's convenient. It's convenient, but this is what we've been told. Listen, DiPodesta is the Moneyball guy. He makes savvy deals. He goes and looks at the minutia of it. The Browns bring him in. You think he ain't looking at these contracts?
G. Bush, do you think if DiPodesta told Jimmy Haslam, I'm not doing that deal, that they don't do it?
But they feel. The thing is, what I'm saying is, they feel that it was a savvy move.
But no. We don't know who feels it was a savvy move.
But what do you mean?
What is the difference? G. Bush, we don't.
How do you not know that? He's there.
Because have you entertained the idea that Jimmy Haslam was going to do this deal no matter what anybody else said?
So now we're playing Wizards. We think that Jimmy
I'm not playing Wizard. I'm just asking you, is that possible?
But it could be possible. But
how did they draft Johnny Manziel?
You have 3 people in the front office.
History tells us how he was drafted.
Here's my problem with people that talk about the salary cap. These guys have Ivy League financial degrees. They got the Moneyball guy there. We sit here and talk about projecting the cap as if they don't have somebody full-time doing this.
They also have an owner who is desperate to win, who has screwed up the quarterback position since he owned the team and is willing to make a deal with the devil.
But what does Watson's contract, how does it hurt the Browns?
It doesn't.
How does it hurt the Browns?
If it was such a good idea to guarantee,
how does it hurt the Browns?
If it was such a good idea to guarantee that size contract,
but the guarantee, whatever.
Why didn't they do it with Patrick Mahomes? Why didn't they do it with any of these other quarterbacks?
What's the difference? Like right now, how does it affect the cap?
Because if he has a significant injury, they're screwed.
Fine, you're right. Okay, that's what you're worried about.
Patrick Mahomes has an injury.
First of all,
he's already had one ACL.
First of all, you're arguing semantics because. Yeah, they're not like the basketball players that have guaranteed deals all through their years. They're getting the money up front is basically a guarantee.
Guys, wait a second. Hold on. Your complaint is that if he gets hurt, it's a disaster. What else is there? What else is there?
First of all, you're saying how could this trade hurt the Browns?
I'm waiting. I want to hear that.
So giving up 3 first-round draft picks usually is good or bad for a franchise?
It's irrelevant how many quarterbacks. You've got a star quarterback, Jay. That's all that matters.
If you're drafting,
that's all that matters.
Low in the first round.
Boy, you better hope he wins it because you are 90.
So hold on, Jay. If you're drafting low in the first round, right?
Yeah.
It's worth the risk to me.
It's irrelevant if they give up 3 first overall picks unless they're going to get another star quarterback.
It's never irrelevant when you're giving up first-round draft picks.
You're getting a star quarterback. You didn't trade it for a linebacker.
If I'm drafting 24th. 25th, 18th,
16,
and I'm not 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3 is different, right?
Brad.
But if I'm 24, 25, 19, it's worth the risk to me. Listen,
I'm glad you guys are fans and not actual owners.
No, listen.
Because Jason, to say that there's no ramifications, how can this be a bad deal? How can this be a bad deal? In other words,
give me an example besides getting hurt.
I've been trying to give you an example.
Give me one.
For one, you've given up 3 first-round draft picks. You're acting as if those don't matter.
It doesn't. If Deshaun Watson's great, it doesn't matter.
They matter.
So would you rather have? So you'd rather have those players than Deshaun Watson?
Here's what I would rather do. Yeah. I would rather talk about play the long game. I would rather be more conservative with one player's salary because if you're not thinking about injury, you haven't been paying attention.
That's always a possibility.
Okay.
So what do you say? You never want to pay a quarterback?
So Bull,
Jay,
that's
wait,
hold
on.
You don't guarantee the money.
Are you saying you never want to pay a quarterback?
No, absolutely not.
So then the only concern is if he gets hurt.
Bull, what you're doing is, and this is what I had a problem with.
Yeah.
You blew up the pay structure. You blew it up.
We don't care about that.
You just barely sneak past the old contract.
And this is why
you did a deal that when the experts saw this deal, they all said the same thing.
And this is why.
Wait, that can't be right.
This is why players don't come to Cleveland because people like Jay are worried about the money.
I still don't understand.
You're right.
Jay,
that's why they're not coming.
That's why they're not coming because people hear things like that.
If Deshaun Watson is healthy and playing, isn't he making all the money he's going to make anyway if it was guaranteed or not?
Yes, probably.
Okay, so what's the problem? Unless he gets hurt. And then it's okay.
Why hasn't this contract ever been done before? Why didn't Patrick Mahomes get this deal? Why didn't Tom Brady get this deal?
Hold on. And
why didn't anyone else ever get this deal before?
You did not get this deal because nobody is coming here. The Haslam's had to make a decision.
Exactly.
That's what I said. They made a deal with the devil. So don't tell me it was a good deal. It was the deal they had to make to get their guy.
Thank you. That's all I agree with you.
But you're arguing arguing about whether the money should be guaranteed or not. We could all in theory say, yes, they shouldn't have guaranteed it all, and still in the same vein say, thank God they have Deshaun Watson and not some Joe Schmo named Baker Mayfield.
Again, 60 years since a franchise quarterback became available. I've said it 100 times.
Exactly. You did what you had to do.
And they made the deal with the devil to get the guy. That doesn't make it a good deal. It makes it the deal that you had to do to get your guy.
How many teams have won Super Bowls with free agent quarterbacks?
They never. Hold on.
Matthew Stafford, they just won last year.
Hold on. Franchise quarterback.
So was Deshaun Watson a trade.
Franchise quarterbacks never come available.
Yeah.
That's a red herring.
They don't.
That's true.
That's a red herring.
Drew Brees.
What I'm saying is, how many Super Bowl winners have there been?
Here, I don't understand
with no franchise quarterbacks?
I just gave you Matthew Stafford last year.
Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady are two of they might be the only exceptions. I don't know. I haven't looked at the list. The quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls in the NFL have overwhelmingly been drafted by the team.
You just gave us the last 2 Super Bowl winners.
Yes, and what I'm saying is,
Jay, great quarterbacks don't change teams very often.
They sign them forever.
Joe Burrow?
He got drafted.
What do you mean?
Thank you. Thank you, G. Bush.
Is Joe Burrow going to become a free agent?
How would the
no.
But G. Bush, that's not my point.
He'll spend the prime of his career in Cincinnati.
Of course he will. But you guys have just made my point.
We didn't make your point.
You're saying, you can't get a great quarterback anyway. You know, they don't.
I didn't say that. I never said that.
Is Joe Burrow a great quarterback?
I never said you can't get a quarterback through the draft.
He did.
Okay, fine, but I didn't say that. To me, that's irrelevant.
Is Joe Burrow a great quarterback?
Of course he is, Jay. I don't know what you're arguing with me about.
Free agent.
I'm not saying you can't get one through the draft. The Browns haven't, and
nobody
this
said
year.
That means they never will in the future.
What was the best? I don't care about the future. I care about now.
Free agent acquisitions are no guarantee.
It's irrelevant.
Draft choices are no guarantee.
No.
If you don't believe me, Jordan was taken third behind Akeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie.
Of course.
So go back and ask Portland now, and go ask Houston
about
if they had to do it again. What would they do?
Well, that's silly.
You don't know.
If they can do it again now, but they have the benefits of the result.
Jay, who were you supposed to get?
Guarantees.
Who did you want to quarterback?
There are no guarantees here.
Jay,
you don't know what you're getting.
So who are you waiting for a quarterback? Who are you waiting for a quarterback? Jay, who did you want a quarterback?
Guys are losing it. I'm concerned.
Who did you want a quarterback?
Jay, who did you want a quarterback? If it wasn't who did you want?
Remember,
Baker.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
He sounded like a Baker bro.
No, listen.
He's one of bros.
Let me tell you. The last time we saw a healthy Baker Mayfield.
I
told you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Finish it.
Did they almost beat Kansas City?
Almost. Every game is almost.
Until Baker couldn't come over that.
Until Baker talked.
Jay accusing us.
I like how
Jay accusing us of being. Pipe down. Jay accusing us of being a fan. He's like, we almost beat Kansas City. That's what all the pathetic fans say. We almost beat this team.
I can always tell when I make a point.
Right.
Bull's volume goes, whoa,
That's ridiculous.
Am I right?
Baker Mayfield is the most turnover-prone quarterback in the league. That's a fact.
Ever.
Since he got
in the last 4 years, yes, that's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
How many playoff games did he win?
1.
How many playoff games did your guy win?
1.
What's the regular season combined win percentage?
Jay, we can all point to stats.
It's a big body of work now. It's not one season.
Who's got the better completion percentage? Who's thrown more touchdowns? Who's got less picks?
Your guy. What has it led to?
So he's much better.
But he's won one playoff.
He's played 3 years.
Here, can we say this?
He's played 3 years, Jay.
No, he hasn't. He's played 4 years.
He played 6 games as a rookie. He played 6 games. He's played 3 full seasons. And he's gone to the playoffs twice.
The simple fact is, and we'll just speak this very concisely.
Okay.
Listen, simple fact is, for 4 years, it was not Baker Mayfield who was the best part of this team. He was carried by the tertiary part.
Of course he was. Yeah.
You have to run a specific offense.
Absolutely.
Kevin Stefanski said, run bootlegs. That's what, play ball control. You're not beating, Joe Burrow changed everything, and Jimmy Haslam, if you're watching, shout out to you. He reset the clock. It wasn't the people who getting money reset the clock. Joe Burrow reset the clock, because you know what he said? You know what he told you? Stop telling me about continuity. Don't tell me about your offensive line. Don't tell me you got to draft 6 linemen every single year. Don't tell me you got to have everybody in a Hall of Fame or every position for a quarterback to be good. I'm going to show up off of ACL with no line, and I'm going to the Super Bowl.
3 great receivers
But
a running back.
we don't like
and lose to Baker Mayfield 41-14 at home.
Super Bowl.
Facts.
Super Bowl.
What matters?
Facts.
That one game or going to the Super Bowl? What's more important?
If you want to compare apples to apples,
Yes.
direct apples to direct apples.
Yeah.
The only way to
That's
really
not
do
direct
that,
apples to direct
Nope,
apples.
it's one team versus another team.
Yeah, but you're not playing against the same defense,
It's
Jay.
one team.
You're not playing
Jay,
against the
you
same
know
defense.
that. You know that. Jay,
But
you
it's
know
one-
that.
Okay,
what
so on
you're
that day,
telling me
Baker was
is-
better. Congratulations.
Yes, but here's what you guys are missing because
That Baker's not good.
Your head is in the clouds.
Baker's not good. No, your head's in the clouds
When-
if you think Baker's
no.
good because he won a playoff game.
I'm not saying Baker's better than Deshaun. That's a silly argument. What I'm saying.
No, Baker's not good.
The
He's
Browns
not that good.
beat the team
I'm
that
with you,
went
Jason.
to the
I'm gonna
Super
check out.
Bowl
I'm
from
gonna-
the
all right,
NFC.
take this.
So did the Chicago
With
Bears.
Baker Mayfield.
So did the Chicago Bears with a rookie Justin
41
Fields.
Take the time out.
So did the Chicago Bears with Justin
score?
Fields. I don't care. I don't know. It's irrelevant.
We're
It's
moving
one
on.
game, Jay.
We're moving on.
We are.
game.
We got to get
Move
to some
on.
other stuff, guys. This has
that's a
been.
Why do we got to get to other stuff?
We're moving
Forget some of
on.
the other stuff.
We're
wear
moving
today.
on.
Yeah.
You're
Moving
wearing
on.
the absolute perfect shirt.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Next
topic.
Yes.
And I'm going to skip right through the Mary Kay stuff because we touched
Yes.
on it.
Yeah.
Let's go to Njoku.
And quite frankly, well, it was a lot more boring than what we just did.
Yes. Let's go to Njoku.
David Njoku, not a top 10 tight end.
No.
Not a top 10
No.
tight end.
No.
Of the moves that I disagree with the most made by Andrew Barry's regime, it's this one. Giving him the contract.
Well, I agree
that
with
they
you
gave.
there.
I don't know what they were thinking. Let's look at the list. We'll show the top 10. He did get votes, not that that matters. He did get votes, but he's paid guys. His contract is the second richest of all tight ends in the history of the NFL. And let's go to the second page, and you won't see him on that list.
Yeah, and all the guys after 6 are just guys.
They are just guys.
You know, maybe Hawkinson will end up being better. We'll see. But if you look at the others receiving votes, he finished 14th, which is middle of the pack, right? That's right in the middle. That's what he's been. He's
got
a
the
middle of the pack
second-best
tight end.
contract ever.
Well, if they're going to pay him what they're paying him, he better be a lot better than the 14th best tight end in the NFL. Now, I think, you know, having Deshaun, if he has Deshaun Watson, that's going to help him. But his individual game needs to improve. He hasn't played well enough. In my opinion, he wasn't worthy of that contract. We'll see if he becomes worthy of it
Can
over
he
the next couple
play
of
in the
years.
top 5 or even the top 3? Because for me, he's got to be, production-wise, he's got to be top 3 tight end for this deal to be any good.
See, I don't always equate it to the money, right? It's the timing of when deals come about. They must see that he has some upside here, right? No, seriously, I'm being serious here.
How old is he?
Because people here get paid in all sports based on potential.
They've got a
right?
nice body of work to lean on.
They see something, right?
Yeah.
I don't see teams going out and paying people they don't see anything.
I do too. When you look at him, you're like, what does this guy want? How much does he want?
So the question is,
Then you watch him play.
does he right? Can he deliver? Right.
I want to pay on tape, not
Right.
production,
Well,
not
you know,
potential.
Some people pay on potential. Some people
Once.
pay on action.
Once. I
right?
don't see a need to pay on potential twice.
Most of the time, you are paid off what you've done,
yeah,
not
exactly.
what's to
No,
come.
except
Look
for
at the
first
Cabrera
contract.
contract. That's a perfect example.
Well,
of what
that's
we're talking
wrong
about.
because the NBA paying on potential now. That's all they paying on potential.
But I think potential should be your first contract in the league. They don't know what you're going to do at that level.
When you become a free agent, they pay on potential again.
But they're paying on performance.
No, some people
Sure
pay.
they are.
Some people pay.
We're not
9
paying
points a game.
Deshaun
we getting
Watson
big
on
money.
potential.
Come on, Delhi got big money here. Stop playing with me.
In football, you only pay rookies
playing with me.
based on potential.
I think
Yes. One contract.
playing with me.
life is day to day, fellas. It's no cookie cut way you look at paying somebody. You look at your team, you look at what you have, you look and see whether or not he can fit what you want to do,
Right.
and then you make the assessment from that. If they're not going to pay any other receivers besides Amari Cooper, they're not going to bring in any other second free agent. So that told me they plan on throwing the ball a lot more to David Njoku. They moved on from Hooper. And so they want to make him a more focal part of the offense. Now, he has to go out and prove it. He has to go out and stop dropping some of the footballs. He got to be a better blocker. But, you know, I don't have a problem if they're going to say, for what we want with our team this year,
Right.
this is what we want to pay.
But G. Bush, weren't they tight end centric last year?
They were.
They were.
Okay, so if your offense is heavily predicated on production from the tight ends, and Hooper can't put 2 feet in a row together without tripping,
Right.
and you're not blowing the lid off of this offense numbers-wise,
Yeah.
I don't know how it's ever going to get any better.
Well, they have a better quarterback, so they're going to put up more passing numbers.
Maybe in the first 8 games, we know they won't have.
Well, eventually they'll have a better quarterback.
They're taking that into consideration. I think when you look at what they did with Deshaun Watson, their thought process.
Good deal? You would do that deal with Njoku?
Well, I guess it's 1 million, 2 million. You know me, I'm not no cap person. I don't care. I go to the cap people and say, hey, can I pay him that? Is it going to stop us from getting anybody else? No, I believe you. I'll pay y'all good money. Let me go. I'll sign him for whatever it is. Whatever.
So yeah, you co-signed that deal.
I didn't think it was necessary. I do agree with G at the end. Like
they could have franchised.
If I'm not a capologist, if they don't think it's going to negatively affect them, then okay. I don't see how that's possible, but okay, I'm not the capologist.
Brad, you like that?
I thought it was unnecessary.
I like Njoku's potential. I do.
We've been hearing about that for 6 years.
No, but here.
I need more than that.
We can't do 6 years. We got a guy that couldn't sling the ball, so I can't tell, right? So I'm gonna see.
The few times it hit him right in the hands, he dropped
it.
Well,
I'm not saying that he was infallible here, right?
That's the proof I need.
You're looking for everybody here's looking for the perfect solution.
We've forgotten the 2021 season. It never happened.
The one thing I know is this: they're knocking on the door, right? I'm tired.
Would you do the deal?
I'm tired.
So you're going to pay everybody as much as they want?
Sometimes I'm gonna do things differently than I've been doing them.
Was there a better way to spend that $54 million or whatever?
Listen,
in fairness to the
problem.
In fairness to the Deshaun, to us saying, well, he'll be better with Watson. George Kittle has played with mediocre or bad quarterbacks his whole career. And
never stopped him.
Numbers. That's fair.
Especially when the offense is so heavily predicated on the tight end.
Yeah.
That's a short pass typically.
I did not like the deal.
I didn't like the deal.
I did not like the Njoku deal, but these are really smart guys, and clearly they felt like he could get that money elsewhere if they weren't going to get it from him. And I'll defer to my partner at The Athletic, Zach Jackson, who says all the time, listen, there's a big demand for tight ends, and there's not a lot of guys around the league that can fill that spot.
Yeah, someone likely would have paid him close. I don't know that he would have got that number, but someone's going to pay him.
Then what's the
I think he's got.
Then what's the problem with the Browns doing today?
Because we've seen him for so many years.
Exactly
and
I'm so tired of hearing David Njoku's potential. We heard about that.
I can't
this
hear
is
about
the last. And that's
At
why.
some point,
well, you're stuck with him. You're stuck with him now.
Well, it's only 2 years guaranteed.
Let me tell you what I'm tired of.
Warren Sapp says potential is another word for just saying you suck.
I'm tired of the Super Bowl come up and I don't have a chance to be in it. I'm tired of that. That's what
I don't know if
I don't know if David Njoku's
Brad would like to donate all of the.
I'm doing
all
something
of your
different.
city budget money.
I'm doing something
is going
different now.
to
I'm doing something different now.
I think Jimmy Haslam is exponentially more rich than the city of Warrensville Heights.
Right.
So he can pay for everything. I think what he's saying is this. It's in business, it's opportunity cost, right?
Right.
What is my opportunity cost elsewhere? My alternative, right? If you got David Njoku right here in front of you, he's in your system, you know what he is, you know what he ain't.
Yeah.
What is the opportunity cost if you take that money and go give it to someone you don't know who it is? You don't know what he's about, and you're expecting them to come into a new offense, new city, and do. And
there wasn't a better option.
It wasn't a better option.
No, but you had you could have franchised.
That was the better option.
Him.
Yeah, I'm not saying they had to go out and sign.
This is his make or break. We probably should have had it already, but this is his last chance.
Yeah, this is it.
Right. And if he plays poorly again this year, you still have to pay him next year when you didn't need to.
Right.
It's only 2 years guaranteed. You could have paid it 1. I think if Njoku can get into that 5 to 8 range at tight end, I'm fine with that.
I think when his 2 years are up, this will be one of the easiest decisions they made to not pick up the third.
Well, he's here. He's not going to.
I think you're probably right about that.
Unless he completely becomes Kittle's overnight, then and Kittle, I think, is he a top 10? No. Is he a top 15? That's even questionable. But it really is.
But what they're doing, Jay, what they're doing with this is they're doing exactly what you said. You said earlier, and I thought it was a good point. Every year you don't win, contracts are getting tick, tick, tick.
They're going away.
People are getting older. Myles Garrett, Chubb, all those guys. So they're thinking of it like this. You know, I got a guy here that I know can do some stuff. I don't got time to go waste 2 years to find out about somebody. Sometimes you need somebody you already know about. If I got a young man that cut my grass, I know he ain't gonna break it up. I'm not gonna go down the street and try to find Billy because he rake up the grass and I don't know where he at. I need it done.
Some days you gotta get your landscaper and say, look, you missed the edges here. You gotta tighten that up right here. But I know who you are.
I know you know
who you are. Lives though in all these years, so now we're expecting him to become that guy that changes the Browns' life.
We just want to. Well, first of all, you are saying that Deshaun Watson will get you better, and you project him to getting you better, but you got him here. He's here. You can work with that.
He's a piece of the puzzle.
He's
not
a piece.
He's not the puzzle.
I think the bottom line.
When a guy's the third highest paid player at his position,
yeah.
I expect him to be a Chubb. I expect him to be a Miles Garrett.
He won't be.
I would even say I would expect him to be a Denzel Ward.
I have to.
Because those three guys are.
I have to push back on you on a
push
little
back.
bit. So ask me this: the people in the profession that you're in, right?
Yeah.
How many of them are overpaid?
All of us.
So, no. Seriously.
I mean, you asked me. I told you.
The ones that are sitting here, because you got some guys in your profession that couldn't play dead at a funeral. They couldn't.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
That don't mean but they got the money.
Yeah, but they're not the highest paid player in the game.
But they still got the money. Right,
Brad,
because your industry paid the money.
He would have been paid no matter what.
Your industry paid the money, right?
Yes.
All right. So there's no difference here in sports, right? It's the same thinking going on here, right? And sometimes it's better to dance with the devil you know than the devil you don't know.
I think
not if the devil you know hasn't changed your life.
Jay, I think the bottom line is, Brad. I think the bottom line is, David Njoku is, in my opinion, an average tight end.
Thank you.
He's getting paid like an excellent tight end. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, if it's a big if, I'm not convinced it's going to happen.
He's getting paid like an elite tight end.
But an elite tight end, I don't think he's ever going to be an elite tight end and be worthy of that contract. However, if he becomes a good tight end where he's in that 5 to 8 range, and then at that point he becomes only slightly overpaid and you can live with it.
Listen,
that's an if though.
If he's Kittle-like with the numbers,
then he's worth it.
If he's 5 to 8,
yeah,
I'd do backflips.
Exactly.
I'd do backflips.
I think that's possible. I'm not
hasn't
betting
been
on
that
it.
guy.
No, he hasn't been close.
No,
to
he
that.
hadn't been that guy. But Jay, what if he became elite? It'd be like a good deal.
Then I would look at the Browns and I would say
smart move.
they outplayed the game. That was a great move.
Because it's 2 years, right?
We know what
your
he's
body
been.
Work you've seen, right? I got what you come.
It's not like we've seen him for 2 years,
right.
and you know he had
5
Baker,
years.
and now we've got a good.
Right.
No,
I got you.
We've seen him long enough to know that he should be an elite performer.
But Jason says something. We all of them been in business. We've been here. When you look at HR, right? HR comes and they say, okay, we had this guy in our organization. Maybe he's not a superstar, but he comes to work every single day. Mm-hmm. It comes up for his review, and you thinking, man, this guy been around a long time. But guess what's going on out here? It's a job shortage. Don't nobody want to come to work right now. So when he come up, you're going to say, well, he's not really a top superstar, but we know he coming to work.
Well, they had him in the franchise tag. They had him on the franchise tag.
But here's what you want. But here's the thing. You want a little more security. You want the risk reward. Because if I give him 2 years and he blow up, I got him under a good deal.
But he hasn't blown up in 6 years.
But the odds to me that he'll blow up to the level where his contract becomes a good contract are very slim, my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll give you that. But if they were going to the open market, right?
Right.
If you got somebody that's working at the fast food restaurant, they're showing up every day.
Yeah.
And they only worker, go ahead and don't give them $18, right? Because the opportunity cost is what? Finding another person in the street, you don't know what the track record is, right?
I usually like your analogies.
There were no better options. I'll give you that.
There were no
better options at the position. I still don't think you had to pay him that much.
The option was you franchise him. That was the option.
Right.
You can
Period.
Which they did.
Jason, they could franchise him the second year too.
Clearly, they're counting on him having a big year this year and outperforming the contract, so that if they did franchise him, then they're stuck going into the following season.
And
that's what
if
they're
he
counting
doesn't
on.
have a big year this year because we don't see Deshaun Watson, that's one of the ancillary ramifications of the Watson
deal.
It's
a domino.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
In fact, so the big talk was, well, I've heard people say, I talked to somebody that covers the Browns who's already has a column written that if the Watson suspension is more than 8 games, the headline of the column is going to be Browns won't make Super Bowl. It's going to be in the first line of the paragraph. I think we all agree if he gets 8 games, this team is not. They might make the playoffs, but they're not going to win a Super Bowl.
I don't know.
Does anybody think that?
I don't know that.
I don't.
If he misses 8 games,
I don't know that.
I don't subscribe.
I wouldn't say that for sure. I'd like their chances less. Obviously,
I think all they need to do is get the playoffs. Just get the playoffs.
You know what? Yeah. I know we were going to talk the Drew League, but before we do, we left one thing kind of on the table with the Watson thing, and that's that if he's suspended indefinitely, there's a report that he'll miss training camp. Do we want to talk about that at all?
I knew that already.
I figured he would.
Well, no, we had said that he could play in the preseason.
No, not if he's suspended for the whole year.
No,
Indefinitely. I thought for a year he could play in the
Right, but if it's indefinite, there'll be a time where he can possibly be reinstated.
Okay.
And if that's after the year that we knew he was already
Right.
If he's suspended indefinitely, you still have you can't be judge, jury, and executioner. There's still an appeal process that he gets to go through, right? So there's still some float time.
But don't we already know how that plays out, knowing who
well,
the judge, jury, and
I'm not saying
executioner
he's
is?
not coming out on the other side of it, but I'm saying there is a process that still goes on.
Right,
So,
but if he's indefinitely suspended and misses the preseason, misses training
if he's
camp.
indefinitely suspended, they're up a creek with that, right? I mean, it's going to be a hard.
If he misses the whole year, he wasn't going to play anyway,
Right,
so it doesn't matter that he's not in training camp. But if he gets suspended for the whole year.
The reason I think training camp is important is because if he's going to play at all this year.
Why is everybody jumping to this indefinite suspension, right?
I don't think anyone's jumping to it. I think we're just mentioning it.
It's a scenario. So everybody's writing about the scenarios.
That scenario
and one of the
was
scenario was
right?
There is the scenario that exists that there's an indefinite suspension. And Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, he could be indefinitely suspended but still be reinstated this year. It doesn't mean that the suspension is going to be for the season. So I think the reason that's worthy of
a indefinite, it's probably the year.
It probably is, but there is a scenario that exists that has him being indefinitely suspended, missing training camp, but then coming back in week 13. That exists.
There's a scenario where he don't get 0 games.
There is, but I think we none of us believe that's.
But I don't think this scenario you're bringing up has any chance either. That he be suspended indefinitely and then be reinstated in the season.
Well, here's how that happens. If he's indefinitely suspended, and they ultimately take this to court, and a court could say 12 games, right? After Roger Goodell, and so let's say the NFLPA says we're going to sue you.
Yeah,
we want to sue you, and we want an injunction to have him reinstated immediately.
They're going for immediate injunction.
Yeah,
for real.
they could.
Yeah.
And that could happen after Roger Goodell makes his ruling.
Like Zeke Elliott, they're going for immediate injunction.
It should be pointed out though. I can't remember. Has the NFL ever lost in court?
Yeah.
Well, they've settled, but
no. I mean, on these issues.
No, even when they lost, they won.
When they lost, they won.
Maurice Claret, they lost.
You're right.
And then they won.
And on appeal, they won. I can never think of a scenario where the NFL lost in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think the discussion of a suspension indefinite that's less than a year makes no sense.
We're within 14 days, buddy, of an answer.
We're actually probably, if you go by the training camp schedule, we're 9 days.
Yeah, but see, I was never on Sue Robinson being on the training camp
But
schedule.
you're just saying 14 days? We don't know anything.
I'm giving you historically what I know arbitration timelines look like, okay? I'm just telling you.
All right.
So I'm saying in
so
14
what
days,
is
so I'm saying by the first to second week of August, this thing is done, right? That's what I think is going to happen here, right?
I guess the tough thing too is this is unprecedented. We've never had this. She's new to this position.
Yeah.
The league disciplinary officer, and we don't know. We don't know. She's had the brief for over a week.
The one thing I know is this: she's going to take her time because she knows all eyes are upon her.
That's right.
She's going to take her time.
And while she's taking that time, there's also the opportunity that they could still settle. That the league and Deshaun could still come to an agreement and remove her and this whole thing from it.
Wait, will that though? If he settles these, then
she's gone.
Well, I would tell you.
Why?
If settles with the league.
Settles with the league.
I would tell you.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you were talking.
I would tell you what to be on the lookout for. If you start hearing drippings come from some camp about the direction she's going, and the league sounds like it's going to be on the other side of it.
Let's go ahead and
Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I don't think we're not going to hear what Sue Robinson.
No.
Sue was furious that there were leaks.
In this business here,
she's talking to no one though.
In this business here, Jay, there's always drippings. Always.
Well,
right?
the dripping started when they said the case was trash. He said, when Florio said it, I had to pull the car over. I said, is that the same Mike Florio that was talking weeks ago? Florio was like, well,
Brad,
it switched up. It switched up when I heard what the league had.
To your point,
and they didn't
Brad,
have anything.
There usually are leaks, but in this case, like I think judges don't leak.
Yeah, they get leaks out of the White House. What are you talking about?
Well, there's more, but Brad, it's because there's
leaks everywhere. Leaks everywhere.
Brad, it's because there's a lot of people there.
So
Sue Robinson is a one-woman jury.
Okay.
She's writing her decision. She's already, admonished both sides. I don't want any leaks.
By the way, you guys are. When I go to the supermarket or whatever, I run into people. They're always asking me, like, what do you really think about Watson? Like, I'm keeping secret information. Do you guys get that too?
Yeah, I get that too.
No, I'm saying, do people ask you that too when you run into people? What do you really think about this situation?
I think it'd be a misconception to think that Sue Robinson is holding everything inside her own brain. That she's not talking.
She's telling people?
No, she's talking. She got friends.
I
She
think
got family.
No,
I'm just saying, leaks can come from anywhere, Jay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm with Jay on this one. I don't
She's
think there's going to be a leak.
No.
Okay.
But you can
She
have
was 25 years a district
No,
judge.
I'm not saying it here.
The one thing that
But you can have a sense of how this is going to go.
You can.
Without
when you
a
sit
leak.
here,
you can read tea leaves, but no.
When you sit here in perpetuity thinking that you got the answer, you don't have it, right? I'm just telling you in this scenario.
Yeah.
It could be a scenario where it comes out like that.
Well,
right?
we talk about leaking. There's been things every single week from
But
this said trial.
G. Bush, there's been a lot of people that have been privy to all the information that was leaked.
Right.
For instance, the thing that I think really caught everybody by surprise was there was a league source that told reporter A that they were going to settle or they would accept a 6 to 8 game suspension. Within a day, another source, league source, leaked that this is that. Not only is that not true, but that was a lie.
I have to counteract that, right?
So there's two people in the league that want different agendas.
You just saw, because to your point here, right? You say she's a 25-year judge, blah, 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 right here. When the Supreme Court was going to drop this abortion piece, right? That leak came from
I'm
where?
glad you brought that up.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? Brad, we still don't know. Wait. Let me answer. You asked me a question.
Where did it come from?
Let me answer.
Okay.
We still don't know. But here's what we do know.
Oh, you damn sure know.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Tell me who did it then. Because the FBI would love to know.
It came from inside that house.
Of course it did.
Yes,
and how many
did.
people are inside that house?
Don't matter. They're all lawyers and sworn.
Brad.
Come on now, Jay. Stop playing with me.
Brad, you're not making any sense. What
I'm
I'm saying is
sense.
there's one person that knows what this decision is going to be.
And I'm saying
she doesn't have a clerk writing the decision. She's doing the work herself.
So you think she's not? You think she's going to write that by herself?
1,000%.
Guys, I think in my opinion, no offense, I think we're wasting time debating on whether she's going to leak it or not. We've talked about that enough.
I do too. I really do.
I think we should move it.
That's not
keep it moving.
Is Aditi ready?
Nope, we're going G League first.
All right.
Or Drew League.
Drew League.
Excuse me.
Drew
LeBron.
League, G League.
So Drew League, if for those that don't, everybody knows what Drew League is, right?
Pro-Am.
So it's a pro-am. LeBron played in this thing.
Yeah.
That's shocking to me.
I was
No, it's
stunned.
not shocking.
I was
No?
stunned. He not only did he play, he had 42 points. It's the first time we've seen him since he bowed out in the regular season. He missed the last, 6 or 8 games with an ankle. So this was it. This was our first look at him. He dropped 42 points in a game that his team barely won.
Why
They won
y'all-
by 2.
Bang.
Why are y'all surprised? I mean,
He hasn't played in over a decade.
In this Pro-Am, we all used to play in these Pro-Am.
But he hasn't played in over a decade.
Because do you know why?
I don't know why.
Because somebody got hurt in one of those games. And that's what happened. That's why everybody stopped playing.
You can always get hurt.
So then why wouldn't you be surprised that he's playing now?
Well, because the players are running the league now. Before the player, when I forgot who got hurt. I thought it was Gene Banks and somebody got hurt, and they told him, we're not paying you, right? So that scared everybody from playing, right? So now the players are back in control. They're like, I'm going over here and having me some fun. We used to go down to those things in Chicago. It'd be 6,500, 7,000 people in the summer league, and it would be the funnest time you could ever have hooping.
Not debating that.
And if you got any love for the game, I don't want to be in the LA Summer League. I want to be in Chicago State. That's where I want to be.
You surprised?
I'm a little surprised only because of his age and the injuries that he's had recently. But LeBron is just different, man. He's just wired a little bit different. And,
old school, throwback.
And he has reached the point of, like, he's got nothing left to prove. He's got nothing left to hide, if that makes sense.
Like, nothing to lose.
He's very comfortable.
Good, then he'll do the slam dunk contest.
He's very comfortable in his own skin.
For that.
I would actually watch it for once.
I would too. I think everybody would.
Yeah.
It would make it relevant again.
He just wants to
He just want to have some fun.
He's living life in L.A. and he's accomplished everything.
It's still surprising to me because he hasn't done it.
Yeah,
so long.
and it is.
It's more of a surprise than Kyrie no-show.
The last time he did it was during the lockout.
The league had players so scared to even attempt to go somewhere and play.
But what's the difference between last year and this year? Like, why did
No, I'm just saying. Well, they had people so scared They wouldn't even attempt to go play anywhere. There wasn't sanctioned.
It would have been a
structure.
bad look if he rolled that ankle.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it would have been a bad look.
Were there other NBA players? Was it all NBA players?
No.
DeMar DeRozan played in the game.
Culturally,
There are players that play.
See, here's the thing. Y'all got to get this, man. You know, as a young boy, this culture right here, man. Like, you don't get your stripes in the NBA. You get your stripes on that blacktop. You get your stripes playing against guys, man. So when you look at Kobe, one of his great, go back and watch. You search on YouTube, Kobe versus James Harden in the Drew League. Kobe hit a last-second jumper. You talk about DeMar DeRozan is there. You talk about all the top players.
Carmelo Anthony.
Mikey, bring that video back.
The stripe you get,
because I want you
look
to
at
see
that love.
I want you to see the energy.
Look at the love.
Mikey, bring
Wait
that
a
video
second.
back.
I don't understand what you guys are arguing.
No,
Nobody's
we're not
saying you shouldn't have played there.
Go ahead, go to the video. Go to the video of the game.
Man,
It's coming.
The energy.
This is lit.
On the sideline.
People
you can't
stand
get that at the
bro.
Summer League,
No, but
in the NBA Summer League.
I get that in the NBA Finals.
But
times
no,
100.
I'm not arguing that. I think it's cool that he played. I'm just saying I was surprised because he hasn't done it in over a
I
decade.
think it's cool he played too. I was shocked just because the optics of everything with the injury. If he goes out there and rolls an ankle.
Yeah, but he's not. I agree with he's not worried about it. But ultimately,
of course not, but
the question that Mikey asked us
the Lakers
was,
might be.
What's more surprising, LeBron playing or Kyrie no-showing? It's obviously
I wasn't surprised
LeBron
by Kyrie.
playing.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by
Kyrie no-showing was. I
expect him to
I look at it. It's no different from this, right?
Yeah.
Go watch The Last Dance, right? Michael Jordan is shooting a movie, right? Michael Jordan's shooting a movie. And he calling guys, hey, come on over here, get this smoke real quick. At the set. Like, these things when you playing in the hood, like, you got to understand from a black male's perspective that grew up in that environment, LeBron you say finals, he get just as much, if not more, from getting that love and energy. Because you the top dude in the game.
You with the people.
And you with the people. You pulling up and you playing hard. Like, that's the greatest thing about playing. And for a lot of time, to your point, they got rid of that because everybody was scared about contracts. You get hurt.
But why did it all of a sudden change this year?
No, but it's always been.
But aren't you more surprised that he played than Kyrie no-showed?
I think to Jason's point, he's at a different level in his game.
feeling
Like,
good.
I'm going back.
I know that.
And I also think it's interesting that LeBron and LA have not been a great fit. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
LA has not embraced him.
Even
The
though they
Lakers
won.
have not embraced him, even though they won that title. It has not been. And I
He's
wonder.
nowhere near Kobe status.
No, and he never will.
No.
At least not in that organization. But I just wonder if going to the Drew League, going to LA, if that will help ingratiate him at all. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
It won't.
We're not. I don't think anybody's debating whether he should have done it or not. I think we all think it's awesome.
I am.
Oh, you are. Okay,
I
fine.
wouldn't have done it.
I think it's great that he
And
did
if
it.
I
I
was
love
advising
it.
LeBron, I would say.
I was just surprised because he hadn't done it
So
forever.
guys,
But there's no difference in that. They get runs all the time. He was in New York playing with Kevin Love. Like these guys wouldn't get runs
I know
all
they
the
do
time.
that, but the fact that it's going to be public, very public, with cameras, if the guy that the other team had a 3 at the buzzer to win it, it just fell short. I look at everything as risk reward.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of you playing in that? What are the risks? And so I go high case. And so he plays, he doesn't get hurt, and he wins it. He plays one game, breaks his ankle, and he doesn't come back until December. That's my variance on risk reward. And I just say, you know what? It's like gambling.
And I understand what you're saying because I mean there's a logic behind it, but sometimes Jay, this is just about the feel. I'm like, I just want to feel the people. That's all I want.
I get that. And
That's
for
all I
him,
want.
That's
all I want.
He's worth a bill. He doesn't need to prove anything else.
Jay,
but I do think he still wants to win another title.
Let me tell you, I go back to Chicago State. Jordan be down there, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre. Right?
I get that.
And when you're in that building, because you just play against street guys, regular guys.
Right.
It's a different feel.
Boy.
No, I know it is, but
you
I just
can't
think
get that, especially you cannot get that
what
anywhere
would we
else.
be saying today if we're leading the show with a piece of video of LeBron being carted off on a stretcher?
That's what happened. That's why they stopped playing.
Well, I
G-Man
wouldn't
said
have
carted him out of
criticized
Philadelphia.
Right, and that's the logic.
It would have
I'm
been
using for why I'm
disappointing, but
surprised
I
he
wouldn't have
played.
been critical of
Well,
him.
again, you could have that in his 3-on-3 run with Kevin Love in
Right,
New York.
that's
And
true.
you can have that with game 1 of the NBA.
And basketball is just
But
different.
It's
It's
unnecessary risks.
You
here,
get that in training
Do I
at
want to jump on a
lifetime.
dirt bike and do a wheelie?
Hold on.
I don't have to.
Well, let me see. Just see, here's the thing. See, you even know from a different level. You take you and me, for instance. We both got injuries, right? So I got injuries, you got injuries, right? I'm younger than you.
Right.
There ain't no way in hell I'm going out there to play nothing professional, semi-pro. I ain't even jogging and running after you. But for you, that's something you do for yourself. You still play at a high level.
Sure.
And it don't matter that you got a good living, or you're earning a lot, or you had a great career, or whatever the case may be. You do that for yourself. It's just something that gives you that edification. Could you get hurt again?
Sure.
Sure. This suck. You had to crush.
I got hurt Saturday. The knee that I've hurt 3 times, I injured.
You have to crush yourself 1 to 5, right?
Like, you're right. I ain't going pro.
Yeah.
But I'm also not still in the argument for the GOAT.
Right.
I'm not in that discussion. LeBron is.
I'll give you
and
that.
I think the one thing LeBron really cares about, he doesn't care about the money.
Right.
He does care about perception and his legacy. Am I right?
Yeah, I think he does.
And
I'll give you that.
1 or 2 more championships, and I don't know that I would probably, if I had to put all my money in a pile right now, I would say he's probably not going to win another one. But he could. And if he does and gets to 6, I think suddenly the argument still, Jordan was 6 for 6, 6-time MVP, and LeBron's finals record is more tarnished. But
He's at
there's
4.
something about that. He's at 4?
You know more than all of us, right?
But you look at
you know
one
LeBron.
second, G. If you look at perception, I think there's more people out there that think good about him for playing in this true league than would change their opinion on him if he won another title.
Wow,
I think
really?
people have already decided where they have him in the pantheon.
Even
of
if he
players.
wins 2 more,
I
I
do
think
so.
6.
I
And
don't think
Jason,
people will
Jason,
change
you
their
said
mind
this
for
one
that.
time. You said, I don't know if he's in that chase and ring spot
That's
no
exactly
more.
it.
You don't
That's
think he
exactly
is?
it. I don't know the answer. If he, and this whole Kyrie to LA thing could change it all. Because if Kyrie goes to LA, they could win another ring.
Mm-hmm.
If Kyrie can stay focused for 9 months and
Good luck with that.
and Anthony Davis can stay out of the clubs for 9 months, they could win another ring.
Is that what they said?
Do you,
AD is?
hey, do you
Hey,
think
damn, I didn't know that.
right now, all
he
he
loves the LA
is
life.
Kyrie a Laker
He done
next
gave us a little.
LA in it, huh?
I think there's a
Give
pretty.
us a
I don't know if
little
I can put odds on it. I think there's a pretty decent
See,
chance.
I would think there's a better chance that he is.
I think he's a pretty
Did you hear
decent
Jason
chance.
just dropped us
He
a
just
nugget?
dropped us
That's
something.
a nugget. I didn't know that.
Hey, we gonna tuck that away.
LA in it like that.
I think
It's out there.
I think the Nets should
out
take
there
a
about
stand.
AD.
I think the Nets should
I
take a
didn't know
stand. The players have got. Listen, I'm all for player empowerment. The players have gone too far. G, you said it the other day. If I'm the Nets, I tell Kyrie and Durant to go screw themselves. You're playing for us, or you don't play. They probably won't be gutless, but if I own the Nets, that's exactly what I'd do. It's enough.
I'd
already.
be afraid telling those guys
Durant
that
just signed a
because
long-term
you
deal.
won't
They're
get
going
anybody
out
else.
for it.
Yeah.
they'll play. And
They will
gonna-
play
and they're gonna
somewhere,
lose.
and someone who played this weekend is Aditi Kinkhabwala.
Then they'll hurt their own reputation.
Wait, played
Via
what?
the Gridiron Guys hotline, looking for a local roofer you can trust. Family owned
All right,
since
well, put me up there
2003, the Gridiron Guys have grown to become Northeast Ohio's
Give me a smile.
top-rated roofers.
Give me a smile.
We exemplify quality work practices and are a valued resource for homeowners and offer a 10-year workmanship warranty. Call 330-573-7967 today for a free estimate or roof inspection.
Grid, grid, grid. Gridiron guys.
There you go. That's the way to execute.
Thank
That
you.
was nice. I set you up. Nice alley-oop.
Good pause, good
Aditi, I
pause.
hope your softball game this weekend was executed as properly as me and Bull just did that ad read.
No.
I have to be honest, I grounded out twice. I mean, I made solid contact. I didn't have any errors in the field.
Okay.
Bud Dupree saved me on one. Bud Dupree was playing first base. I played second. One of my grounders I threw a little bit. One of the grounders I fielded, I threw a little bit high. But Bud Dupree saved me.
You look like a child in that picture.
Video. I need video of
Oh
this,
my
Aditi.
goodness. You
I mean, like, let's be honest though. Not only is Adam Shearer the biggest guy on the field, he's like the biggest person on the planet.
He's huge.
Does that not look intense right there? Like, that's a pretty good,
Yeah, you look
stance.
good. I mean, putting
Squared
the ball in
up.
play is a good job. When's the last time you played softball?
Okay. So can I, 15 years, 20 years?
Yeah, that's
something?
good putting in play. That's not
I'll
bad.
tell you, there were three women in the game. The other two were professional wrestlers. And I actually feel, I said this to my husband, I said, I think that I was actually the best one out there. And he
Nice.
said, you probably were.
So
yeah.
can we take that shot again of her at first base, the last one that we had up? I have a question for you, Aditi. Were you on the home team that had 14, or were you on the visiting team that
No.
had 4?
No, this is immediately after I made the last out. And let me tell you, I just sent video of this. And let me tell you, can I tell you how this went down, actually? So there was Team Berg, which was all Steelers. I mean, fully loaded. We're talking Naji Harris, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward. They're all on that team. Then I was on Team World. And Jalen Rose, who's a lovely human, but maybe a little bit on the older side. Deion Lewis, who you all remember from Cleveland, so lovely and played excellent at shortstop. I mean, he just chased down everything, but didn't put the ball in play. He was 0 for 2. I think he fouled out once. And Deion
So
Lewis
the fix was in for Pittsburgh to win.
Yeah, clearly.
Well,
and then they also had a fungo bat. Like they had a special juiced up bat.
What?
But anyway, that
They
last
cheated?
A fungo
wait,
bat.
so that last one, I'm
Well,
up
that's
for
all
the
right.
second time.
Ben
2 outs.
Roethlisberger had a fungo brain for 15 years.
All right, so it's 2 outs. It was
Yeah.
a 5-inning game. 2 outs, top of the 5th. We're down, whatever, 14-3, whatever the score was. And I come up to bat. I hit the ball to Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, who I love, does me the biggest solid, throws a circus throw behind his back to Cam Hayward, trying to help me out. And can I tell you, heartless Cam Hayward catches the ball and races to first base to get me out. So that was me being
Basic
like, really?
Ohio State way.
Now,
I
We
mean,
need video of that. We really do need
I
video.
I wish he would have pulled up with a hamstring or something. I can't play
Serves him right.
8 weeks.
on my
my
team.
Buckeyes, man.
Speaking of Ohio State, the wonderful, great Malcolm Jenkins,
No, we do.
who's doing some really interesting things right now. It was a lot of fun, guys. It was really,
We take
really.
everything serious.
Aditi, were there any decent quarterbacks that played in this game?
You jerk.
Oh, you are so cold. You are so vicious.
Who was the best
Let me
player?
tell you.
Oh, that's
Let me
mean.
tell you, right now, with all the uncertainty surrounding Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
you don't think you would feel safer with Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett than you do with Jacoby Brissett?
That's a good segue.
I'd take either one.
Yeah, but that's only for a short period of time. Then eventually I have Deshaun Watson, and he's a zillion
Is
times
it a
better
short
than those
period
guys.
of time? Is it a short period of time?
I didn't know Kenny
Do we
Pickett
know?
was that live.
I mean, at worst, it's going to be a season.
I
At
know nephew
worst, but
plays
then
for Pitt. I
then for the
didn't
next
think he was that
4
live.
seasons, then for the next 5 seasons, I'll still have Watson.
I know, but this is a what have you done for me lately league. I mean, all we care about at the current moment is this season, right? Isn't
That's
that
it.
all we care about right now?
The biggest game is the next game.
What's the Steelers can't win the Super
Exactly.
No, because if Deshaun Watson doesn't play this year, then the Browns can't win the Super Bowl, and the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl. If Deshaun Watson plays, no, the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl. There's no chance.
Wait,
Okay.
Sexy Rexy took the Bears to the Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. You don't think that,
That
an
was a
amazing
zillion years ago when it was.
strong run game?
You can't win
but
that
you
way
don't think
anymore.
That still works. You don't think it works that way anymore?
Can't
at
win
all?
that way anymore. I don't think. Unless I'm proven otherwise, I don't think you can win with an average or worse quarterback anymore. You have to have I think you got to have a top 10 quarterback to win.
Can I tell you guys, it's a little bit difficult to debate Adam while he's wearing that shirt.
You love my shirt, right?
You,
Trust me, we've learned that this morning. Yeah, we've.
I mean, it's like very distracting. It's a brilliant shirt.
It's
like, there
okay.
you go. You
If
sort
you
of feel
disagree
like
with
you're
me,
stepping on
I
a
can't force you to
landmine.
be right. Yeah.
Hey, who was the best player at the softball game?
Kenny Pickett hit a home run. Mitch Trubisky hit the ball really well, too. I will say that. Cam played a very good first base. Nothing got by him. All the throws. And obviously, Adam Scherr, as you see, is like the hugest man I've ever seen in my life. He rocketed a ball out of the park. He was the only one that did that. They set up cones. Gene Steratore. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little person, but I'm not that little. Like, there's muscle on me.
I'm surprised you let him play in the softball.
I look like a 5th grader. I really look like a 5th grader. I sent Mikey a picture. I sent Mikey a picture.
It'll be up. Don't worry, Aditi. We got it. Don't worry.
Oh, where I'm standing on the chair next to him, and
Yeah, it's a great picture.
And she's still shorter than he is?
Oh yeah, you'll see it in a second.
Basically,
Now, Didi, I got this question. We talked about
right.
the quarterback comparisons with the Browns, right? Browns and Steelers, and I'll give you that. I would be more comfortable with Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky if Deshaun Watson isn't here. But I'll ask you to think of it this way, and see how you feel the rosters compare if you change one thing. If you changed coaches and Mike Tomlin was coaching the Browns and Kevin Stefanski was coaching the Steelers, what record would the Browns have? If
see,
Too many variables.
gee, I have to be honest with you. I think that's a little disrespectful to Kevin Stefanski. It's also a little disrespectful to Mike Tomlin, right? You're comparing a guy who's in his 3rd year as a head coach to a man who's won a Super Bowl and done it longer than just about anybody in the league but Bill Belichick. Who's got more seniority than Mike Tomlin?
well,
I think he's even got a year on John Harbaugh, right? They've got, I think that the best teams are in the image of their coaches, that they match their coaches' personalities. And what I would say is that the Steelers very much fit Mike Tomlin's personality. And as I see it, the Browns fit Kevin Stefanski's personality. And so I don't know. I don't mean to say that let's just take Mike Tomlin, that his style is not transferable, but I don't know that he constructs the same roster if he's leading the Browns as Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry do. So I don't know that that's an easy swap. I think it's easier for me to sit here and say, okay, well, right now I like the Browns offensive line more than I do the Steelers offensive line. That's because I don't know much about the Steelers line just yet. They've completely rebuilt it. Let's see how they gel and let's see how good these guys are. At the moment, as much as I like Naji Harris as a person, and quick little aside, I think you all know that my son has been a diehard Bills fan since he was 2 years old. He was wearing his Bills hat in my dugout, and Naji Harris walks over and spends 10 minutes asking him, what can we do to change your mind? He asks him about his Bills fandom. He asks him about his favorite player. Nico told him why number 17, Josh Allen, is his favorite player. And Naji at one point turns to me and he says, the kid makes a lot of good points. But anyway, to that point, I think Naji is great. He's got wonderful personality. I think that he did more with less last year. I mean, that line, he got hit behind the line of scrimmage more than anybody a year ago. So it's hard to compare him to Nick Chubb, but I think everybody knows how much I love Nick Chubb, and I would happily give Nick Chubb the ball on every play if I thought he could hold up that way. I just think that it's easier to sort of say, okay, I like the Steelers wide receiver room a little bit more than I do the Browns right now. I like the Browns O-line a little bit more than I like the Steelers O-line. I think the coaches is just a little bit too hard because of the experience disparity. And again, because of
the roster construction is a great point. I mean, obviously, they have different philosophies. They build their teams in different ways. You hope that the front office works. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. What are you, 6 foot on that chair?
Not even. I mean, I'm leaning to try to get there. How about that? I'm standing on a little collapsible folding chair with my daughter. What if that thing had broken?
Yeah, that would have been bad.
They'd have caught you.
You're in good hands. If it broke, you were in very good hands. You probably never hit the ground.
That is the fabulous Paul Zeiss, who I have known for, I don't know, almost 20 years at this point. We used to cover women's basketball in the Big East. He was at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I was at the Bergen Record in New Jersey. And we spent an amazing Final Four in Cleveland together.
Look at that.
1 year. Do you remember that? Do you remember when Cleveland hosted the women's Final Four?
Yes, we do.
I do, yeah.
It was big here.
Yeah, it was a tremendous Final Four, in fact. Yeah, so he was my manager. He's the one that put me at second base, batted me eighth. I don't know why he batted me eighth. I think it's a little bit of an insult, but
you're at least a six-hitter. At least a six-hitter.
You'd like to think, you know?
Yeah.
Although I shouldn't be talking so much smack. As I said, I grounded out twice. So.
Hey, Aditi, we were talking earlier. I think we're officially in the neighborhood now of being on Deshaun Watson watch. I get the sense that this could come literally any second now. Are you looking at it the same way?
I think that that's fair. We know that the briefs were in a week ago. I think this week, next week, I think the Texans settlement, while not necessarily something that plays into what Sue Robinson decides, is ultimately probably a good thing for Deshaun Watson. I mean, imagine if those 30 cases had gone to trial and Deshaun Watson had to be deposed 30 times and deal with, you know, could the Texans have attached him as a defendant in some way, or could the Texans have tried to pin the blame on him in some way? All of those things are sort of taken care of now in the sense that the Texans went ahead and settled with these 30 accusers. So I think you're right. I think any moment now, this week, next week, really at the latest, I would think, do we know what Deshaun Watson's fate for this season is?
Yeah,
actually, you know what? That's not true. I think Sue Robinson gives us a judgment, but then what if the league appeals to the commissioner? I wish I knew the answer to this, and I'm sorry I don't. I don't know how much time the commissioner has to decide the appeal.
Right, yeah. On the time frame, we don't know, but obviously if she hands out any suspension at all, then the NFL has the right to appeal. We were joking earlier in the program that somebody, I don't know who, McNuggets, do you know who put the odds out on who's going to break this story? And Brad said he thinks that this thing could be leaked. I'm going to be stunned if this is leaked because the circle of people that know what's coming is one. And she's already spoken out about leaks.
Well, I don't think it's her. I think it's as soon as she tells someone will leak it.
Thank you.
Yeah, but do you?
I mean, isn't that the way that it go? You know, as soon as Deshaun Watson's team knows, we knew what happened the first time.
So when
the grand jury had its answer and Adam Schefter had the news almost instantaneously.
So she will. Well, yeah. I mean, at that point, I think the league has to be in concert with her. That as soon as she informs them of what their decision is, there's a release.
But hang on, the argument earlier ensued from if there was going to be a leak ahead of time that would prompt the NFL to settle.
Right.
Yeah,
because
and
Aditi,
I say
the point I made
not
is
no chance.
until Judge Robinson comes out with the decision, there's still time for Deshaun and the NFL to come to some sort of settlement that removes her from the process. That was what the argument was over.
And I just don't see how there would be a leak before she makes her decision.
Yeah, it wasn't if someone's going to break it. It was is the way that she's leaning going to be leaked to the NFL that would then force them or sort of prompt them to then go back to the table.
Especially if it's not going to go their way.
I wonder, guys, though, does it, everything that we have heard about the proceedings, do you think that Deshaun Watson is feeling good about his chances right now? We go back to the fact that the NFL did not report any instances or did not offer as evidence any instances of force or coercion or implied coercion. So does that make Deshaun Watson feel confident? Remember, Deshaun Watson has been very, very adamant for a long period of time now that he has not, what is the word that he used? That he has not disrespected any woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, obviously, I'm just repeating what he has said when I say that. But he's spoken multiple times about wanting to clear his name, clear his image, clear his reputation. We've all talked very frankly that ship has probably sailed, that the way that we are all wired, it's sort of, it's easy for all of us to paint with a brush sometimes or to buy a narrative.
Right.
But knowing that Deshaun Watson feels so strongly about that, he may not want, even though he may not want to make a settlement. He may want to sort of have his day in court, if you will. Or the flip side to that is, if he kind of hit his point of exhaustion and did indeed settle with these women or was indeed enlightened to where he could be culpable in some way. Again, I'm just saying if. I don't know any of this to be true, okay? So please don't think that I'm saying he is culpable or he's not culpable. Does he seem more willing to say, all right, whatever, I'm just tired of all of this. Let's make a deal and move on? I don't know the answer to that. I really, truly don't.
I just think that here, if somebody's really in his ear and really explaining not just the legalities, but the financial impact, at the end of the day, he gonna come to the same place, right? It's gonna cost them something, right? And so the ship has sailed on the public opinion, right? It's etched in stone. He ain't clearing nothing, right?
No,
but that should be But that should be irrelevant.
No, but I'm saying, but to her point, where she's talking about what he wants to do, where you want to be is not. I don't think the chance you getting there is ever going to get there. Right.
Yeah, so, completely clearing his name. It's relevant to Deshaun because I agree with Aditi that I do think that if a settlement is reached for a guy who's been very adamant that he's done nothing wrong, I think the perception of him saying, okay, I'll take 4 games, you're not going to stand up and say, I'll take 4 games if you did nothing wrong. To Aditi's point, the facts are in.
But that happens in court, though.
It does happen.
All the time.
I know it happens,
all
but
the
it
time.
doesn't change the perception.
Right, the perception, sure.
Some might be likely to say, but I thought you did nothing wrong.
I'm sure the Texans could have fought some of those charges.
Right.
And they were just like.
But ultimately, guys, and ultimately, Aditi, if it's true, now the report was, as you said, Aditi, earlier, that there was no force, no coercion, and no violence. Now, we don't know that there was no evidence of those things. That was the report. But if it's true that there's no evidence of force, no evidence of coercion, and no evidence of violence, well, what's he being punished for?
Bringing the league into disrepute?
Again, that is you. I don't feel comfortable saying right now, so let's just let's just think about the other piece of this, to Jay's point, and to what Brad is saying about whether you can clear your name or not. I think that sometimes you hit a point of exhaustion. Okay. And you just sit here and you say, I'm fighting for the truth. This is not right. This is not just. This is not fair. But you throw up your hands and you say, you know what? Winning is getting to start again. Winning is not fighting a battle that is just set against me in so many ways, whether it is actual evidence or it's narrative or it's perception or it's, because obviously we're all acknowledging that whether there was violence or not, Deshaun Watson is definitely guilty of some very bad judgment and of some very, very bad decisions at a baseline, at a minimum. So what is the one thing we know about sports fans? They love winning. And sports fans have short-term memories sometimes
100%.
about certain things when they are delivered what they want. We've talked about this before. For instance, Ben Roethlisberger was ostensibly going to be a pariah after everything he went through. You saw him just a season ago being sent off with, quite frankly, a hero's farewell in Pittsburgh. I've never seen anything like that, where 65,000 people were absolutely thanking and applauding and cheering. And I mean, this is the same guy that got into a dicey motorcycle accident. This is the same guy whose teammates called him boorish. This is the same guy who was twice accused of rape by women. This is the same guy that was suspended by the NFL for 6 games for violating its personal conduct penalty. And yes, it was reduced to 4, but all of that is sort of pushed into the past. I mean, I can tell you from my personal experience, people in Pittsburgh got so angry at me for years. Anytime I said anything that was even remotely perceived as mildly negative about Ben Roethlisberger, and it would have nothing to do with anything but the way that he played on the field, and still I would be attacked. That's because sports fans love the people that deliver them championships.
Well, Bull lived
and
that
so
with the
Deshaun
Cubs.
Watson might be sitting here and saying, the quickest way that I get to have something different attached to my name is by putting this behind me and moving forward and playing.
That's right.
And so does he drag this out for another year fighting, or does he just say, okay, let's just get it over with and let's move forward?
Because Aditi, sometimes in life you can win, but you can lose at the same time, right? So his version of winning may be like, I won the thing, I cleared myself, but you still lost, right? There's
nobody's going to walk away with this with an absolute clear-cut victory.
That's done.
If he
I
plays,
think everybody
that's done.
loses. It's a degree of how much you lose, and if he comes back and plays well, I think the short-term loss is far overshadowed by the game.
Big time.
But Aditi, to your point, I don't even want to think about what happens if he's cleared and he comes back and plays poorly. And under his leadership, the Browns are 2-6, because then a whole lot of people that were willing to overlook whatever transgressions may or may not have occurred, suddenly the people that aren't okay with that are going to be drowning out the people who were okay with that. If he doesn't ultimately win.
And it's true, because you know what we're forgetting in all this? It's been a long time since we've seen Deshaun Watson play. A year off didn't serve Le'Veon Bell well. And obviously different positions, different times, different situations. But we haven't seen him. And I actually had this conversation with an NFL general manager this weekend. We were talking about a variety of different things and eventually came around to Deshaun Watson. And he told me it's been his opinion for a long time that Deshaun Watson is overrated. Now, I can tell you this. I know the Cleveland Browns think that he's a top 5 quarterback. And many months ago, I asked a member of the Browns organization, why blow up everything with Baker Mayfield when Kevin Stefanski was clearly comfortable with him? Why chase a guy who seemingly had baggage, regardless of what that baggage actually is? It's not, you're not trading for Joe Burrow. You're trading for somebody that is carrying some baggage. And the response I got from the member of the Browns organization was, how often does a top 5 quarterback who's had demonstrated success in the league as a top 5 quarterback become available?
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, I just spoke to a GM this weekend who said he thinks Deshaun Watson is overrated.
Why fire that GM, Aditi? That GM should be fired. He's
Fire
an idiot.
the GM.
He clearly cannot disagree
Please
with
tell
that.
that guy I think he's an idiot. He should read my shirt.
All right.
So this GM, I know you're not going to tell us his name, but he's a respected GM who's had success in the league, or he's a new GM that really doesn't have a track record? So yes, he is respected with success.
Yes, definitely. But again, let's remember, I mean, there was just a poll about, for instance, Lamar Jackson. And there are a lot of people who don't think that he is a elite athlete in this league, an elite quarterback, and the guy won an MVP. Okay, so like that's the nature of
everybody
the game.
wasn't sold on Stafford.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, this is the nature.
They're like, what is
you
LA
are
doing?
so right. People were not sold on Stafford. He wins a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden there's Hall of Fame talk. That's the nature of this game. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Commercials.
I don't think Lamar's elite. I think he's very good, but he's not elite, and I don't think Stafford's a Hall of Famer, for the record.
Okay.
Anybody?
Yeah, Stafford. Well, I don't know that we'll know on Stafford because he played so many years with a team that was just trash. But you know, we were talking at the start of the show, a very heated discussion, Aditi.
It was a brawl.
It was a brawl. Everything happened but hands being thrown. And basically, the discussion started before the show when Jason sort of touched on a vein like, do the Browns still do this deal if they know that Deshaun's going to get even half a year? I think
it was a full year.
A full year.
Full year.
Okay. So do they still make the trade if they know he's going to get a full year? And if so, are you still giving him all of that money guaranteed and still parting ways with all of those draft picks? And
no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. The Browns are built to win now. The Browns are built to win now. There's money to win now. The way the roster is constructed, this is not a club right now that might have a year or two of growing pains and then be poised to win. This is a team that is built to win right now. You're not sacrificing all of that if you think this quarterback is not available to you right now.
But in the end, it doesn't matter because he gives them a better chance to win a Super Bowl over the next 5 years.
And I would say this.
It doesn't matter.
But you would have given up a little less.
Well,
okay, fine.
To that point, I disagree somewhat because the way the contract is structured, somebody thought about something, right? They didn't think it was a clean set. They would have paid him his full money this year.
Facts.
Right? So somebody thought about something.
Somebody somewhere.
Aditi, here's the point I made. Go ahead.
No, the only thing I would say back to Brad is that there was a lot of talk about the way that the contract was structured and how there was almost no money in the first year salary. So if he is suspended, he's barely giving money back. I've actually talked to a contract guy on another team who said this is fairly common. The Browns have done this with other players, and there are other teams that do indeed structure contracts this way. So it certainly raised eyebrows, and justifiably so. But it's not.
Somebody had to think about it. Right? It wasn't like nobody thought about that. It was an option out
there. Was a signing bonus, right, Aditi?
Yeah.
Yes, I think there was a large one, right? Gosh, Mikey, why don't you tell me to be more prepared?
No, there was a signing
This whole conversation started.
We've been winging it the whole day, baby girl.
I'm losing my mind here.
Aditi,
Baker Mayfield is an average quarterback.
Not the topic.
And Deshaun Watson's an excellent quarterback. What's the discussion?
What's
the problem here?
Let Jason get his point in.
And I'm being complimentary to Baker calling him average. He is the most turnover-prone quarterback in the league.
Here's the point I made. If the Browns were not concerned about a year suspension, they would not have waited for the grand jury to come back. They would have pursued this like Miami did well ahead of time. The Browns were waiting on the grand jury to return a no bill so that they knew the commissioner's exempt list was off the table.
How do we know they weren't pursuing
before they pursued this deal? If there was any chance of that, they were not in on this. That's what tells me this is a bad deal if he's out for the entire year. They would not make the same deal if he's out for the entire year. If they knew he was going to miss the entire year.
But ultimately, if they win down the line, it's not a bad deal. You can't judge the deal now.
If they win a Super Bowl, it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal.
Very simple.
Yeah, win a Super Bowl, it's not a bad
deal.
But
this is the whole, again, this is the thing with the NFL. This is like labeling a draft pick. You can't label a draft pick for
Aditi,
at least 3 years.
Would you agree, though? I think it's similar to what the Rams did. The Rams went all in, and they got their ring. Now, they know that the future is going to be tough. They know that because of what they had to give up to get their missing piece. So I think history will judge this Rams trade as it worked. They got what they wanted. I think that the equivalency is this trade with the Browns. If they win a Super Bowl, for me, It worked.
Yeah, but
it was worth all of it.
But I say
even the waiting and the uncertainty
Well,
on
and
what
that
his future is.
what was the shirt? Wasn't Les Snead wearing a shirt like poking fun at the questions about all his draft picks?
That's not
Like,
picks.
was
That's
it
People are
Yeah.
embarrassed.
That's them
The
picks.
obsession over draft picks is a flat-out
But they
freaking
won.
embarrassment.
So
But
now
it's an
he doesn't
embarrassment.
care.
but you're
Right.
forgetting
You know?
that they added 2 critical pieces during the season.
Yeah.
No, I know they did, but the ultimate
So that would
ultimate
tell you,
move is,
even after they got Stafford, right?
They
They were
still
still
needed work.
short.
right, but they won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but they
what
went and
people
got-
will
they
remember
went-
is
But you could have Odell and Jared Goff, and you're not winning that Super
No,
Bowl.
you're not winning
But
that
I said
Super
here,
Bowl.
when they got Stafford here, they were still short. So they said, Beckham got you. And then they went and got linebacker from Denver.
You're right.
Von Miller.
You're absolutely right. But to your point, they can make all those moves that they want. If they don't, the move was Goff.
And Jay, sorry, but the quarterback they moved on from won a hell of a lot more than one playoff game for the Rams.
Ain't that the
he
truth?
took
Super
them to
Bowl.
the
Oh, he
Super
did.
Bowl.
Yeah,
and they said he's not good enough. We have to do better.
No,
right.
listen, you're right. And when the Rams made that trade,
Mm-hmm.
I was fine with it because I watched the Rams and I said, that's all they need. That's it. That's all they need. And by bringing Goff in, you're not just you're bringing in a guy that has a long history in the league.
What are you saying, Stafford
of playing
was
with a really bad team, or Stafford, I mean. By bringing Stafford in, to me, I thought at the time, I know it's a lot to give up, but I like their chances of winning.
And Deshaun's better than Stafford.
But you were saying Stafford was all they needed?
Deshaun's better than Stafford. I'm not ready to go
Because
there.
it couldn't have been all they needed because they had to get 2 more pieces.
No, but to Jason's point again, if you don't get Stafford,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't
Right,
matter.
right.
You're
That's
not
true.
even making the move for Beckham. If it's not
That's true.
Goff,
I'll give you that.
you're not
Hey,
even.
hey.
And Jimmy G did the same thing and the Niners made the same decision.
I go back to what Brad
He's not
said.
going to get the guy.
I go back to Brad said. I'm the youngest dude here. I'm tired, and I'm tired.
I'm tired.
It's all about winning.
I'm tired of watching other
I'm
people.
the oldest dude here, and
So-
second oldest dude here, and I'm even more tired,
Jay,
bro.
Jay, here's what I understand.
Guys. I just want to put this picture up one more time because
Yeah.
Aditi has to run.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just laugh. Aditi, I'm sorry, but this is the best picture we've ever shown on UCSS. You have 30 seconds to defend yourself, and then you could go do what,
What
you
does she
got
have
to
to
do,
defend
Aditi.
herself for? She's just great.
frozen. I have no idea what picture you have up. I don't have return anymore.
It froze on you? It's the picture of you on the
Yeah.
chair. The picture of you on the chair.
Oh. Hey, look, I'm doing my best. I will always go the extra mile. That's what that picture says.
Well, your daughter is very tall. She's very tall. She's a monster
Look
right
at how
now.
grumpy she looks. She's like, all right, Mom, it's 9:30 at night. What exactly is going on here?
Yeah, look.
To me, you're the tallest one in that picture, Aditi.
Aw, you're
chair.
the best, Jay.
Without the chair, you're the tallest one in that picture.
Thanks, Aditi.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we'll
you
talk,
for
we'll talk to you
having
very
me, guys.
soon.
See you,
We'll
Aditi.
talk to you soon.
Bye.
I think your daughter's adorable. That's the end of the day. That's a long day.
Oh, because
Yeah.
they'll cut up on you.
But you can just, I mean,
Oh, they will cut up
But
on
Jay,
you.
you got
know.
to explain
I don't
something to me
like
here. You liked the Matthew Stafford trade.
I did.
But but besides the baggage, do you have any problem?
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the
So
play?
if there was no baggage, you have.
It's because of the baggage.
Okay,
Bull.
so you have no problem with the deal if it wasn't for the baggage. Zero problem with it.
I still would say there was too much given away.
Why?
Because the money.
But Deshaun Watson's better than Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford had done nothing.
Well, that's
you know how many,
your
you know how many playoff
assessment.
games, Matthew? You always talk about Deshaun Watson 1 game in 3 seasons.
Well, he played with the Lions, so go ahead.
Who the hell did the Texans have? He had nobody.
They both had great receivers that they threw to.
Yeah. How many playoff games did Matthew Stafford win in Detroit?
I don't think he ever made the play. No, he did make the playoffs once, and I think they lost.
He played 12 years in Detroit, won 0 playoff games.
Yeah, and
12
Detroit,
years.
Detroit was the NFC's version of the Browns for that whole time.
Okay, and
except
the
for they had a quarterback.
And the Texans are the same thing.
I'll get back to your original question.
Texans
I'll
are the
get
same
back to
thing.
your original question
Yeah.
because you keep taking me off point.
Yeah.
The original question was, if he doesn't have that baggage, are you okay with the trade? Bull, my problem is I can't separate the art from the artist. That's my problem.
Okay, fine. But in the end, the Browns had to get better at the position. They weren't good enough at the position. They had to get better. And at the moment, this was the only way to get significantly better.
At that position, yes.
Yes.
At the moment.
And that's what you need.
So the only thing that
Do you think a team can win a Super Bowl with a mediocre quarterback?
I do, yeah. I think I know that you've said that history recently.
Yeah.
I still think, Bull,
Yeah.
that a team can win a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback.
Wi-
I do.
Yeah,
because
elite.
it's happened, and I know you said
but not-
the league's different now.
But I think
But with a quarterback who has more turnovers than any other quarterback in the last 4 years.
I think you guys are just two different people who have different risk aversion. right?
Oh, that's absolutely true.
It's different risk.
Absolutely
You're
true.
not gonna make the. You like, hold on, let me.
I'm thinking global. You're thinking micro.
And when
You're thinking win.
Well, here's the thing.
You're thinking micro because you're saying if he doesn't play this year, it's a disaster. That's what Jason said.
Let me explain it.
Yeah.
Bulls like, listen, damn it, I might die tomorrow. Let's see what we're talking about. Let me get it. You like,
listen.
Hold on. But there's no problem with that. But then you were like, well, listen, today is cool, but I want to be good today, tomorrow, and next week.
Here's the difference. I'm a Browns fan. You're a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
That's one difference.
Right.
Here's the other difference. I'll point this out. And I figured this out the hard way by losing my dad. And this is the God's honest truth. If I die tomorrow without the Browns having won a Super Bowl, my life was still incredible. It was no less satisfactory because my football team didn't win. I learned through my dad dying, and he taught it to me in his last days. I told the story how we watched the 2007 World Series together. I was crushed. I couldn't get words to come out of my mouth because I knew, and he knew too, that was it. That was it. I would never, ever celebrate a championship with my father because they had never won one in my lifetime. And while I'm crushed and my dad's riddled with cancer, he tells me, your priorities are out of whack. You're looking at it as we didn't get to see a championship together. Those memories are fast fleeting. They're gone. You go back to work the next Monday, you're going to make the same amount of money. No one's sending you a ring. No one's giving you a bonus. You don't get a parade. They're fleeting. And what he taught me was we had experiences through sport. I'm looking at it as I got to watch games 5, 6, and 7 of the ALCS, which were all losses for the Indians. They won one, and they go to the World Series and likely win. And I know that. He knows that. He said, you're disappointed. I'm ecstatic. I got 3 more experiences with my best friend that I otherwise wouldn't have had. And Bull and G. Bush, to your guys' point, I want to win. God, I want to win. I want to win as badly as anyone I know. Anybody that's ever played any competitive sports with me will tell you I'm the worst loser on the planet. I am. I'm ashamed to say it, but it's true. But what I learned from watching my dad die, knowing that we were never going to celebrate a championship with, he said to me, my life was no less rewarding.
Yeah. That's a beaut. I totally agree with that. And to a certain extent.
So I don't want to win at all costs.
To a certain extent, you got to think about it. Now, what if you flip it and it's Jimmy Haslam who owns the team and he's on that deathbed and he's saying, I done lived a great life. I done spent more money. My kids is fine. But at the end of the day, what's one thing you can't buy? I was in Pittsburgh and I saw the Roonies winning. I want to win. Me and my wife want to win.
At any cost.
And he made the
what's any cost? Was it any cost when they signed Kareem Hunt, who punched a woman in the face?
I think he made the decision, and he said, "What's most important to me?
Winning."
And winning was most important, so he made the move.
And look, that's his decision to make, and we can't.
We out of it, right?
Right. Well, we can't understand the pressure of winning, of having to win as an owner, especially when he's been beaten down as much as he's been beaten down.
Yeah,
he's a punchline.
Because right now, in the first paragraph of his obituary, it's not good.
No.
It's not a good read.
But he'll get the last laugh if the Browns win a Super Bowl.
But Bull, will he? Because also in the body of that article will be other things that have happened to him in his life. Okay? And among those things, I'm going to leave I'm going to leave the business side of it out. But among those things will be he signed Kareem Hunt and Deshaun Watson. Those things won't
But every owner has that same thing.
They're not going to miraculously disappear when they win a Super Bowl. Those things will still be facts.
But the Roonies who are lauded had Ben Roethlisberger. What's the difference?
He was already there. That's the difference. He was already there. They brought these guys in.
They didn't go out and say, I want to do business with this guy.
They could have cut him if they were so above that.
Make no bones about it.
Right.
Yeah.
If he dies and he wins, the first line says, Jimmy Haslam, owner of the Cleveland Browns, won Super Bowl 2000, whatever. That's the first line.
It is the first line.
It's the first line. And for
really, the first line is he ended the Cleveland Browns' long losing
does
streak.
anybody
That's the legacy.
Does anybody in Cleveland still love Art Modell because he was bringing back black players to Cleveland when other teams wouldn't, which was a great thing? They only care that he took the team out of Cleveland. They hate his guts.
Different guy altogether. He committed the ultimate sin. He took our team.
Right. Agreed. So this idea that we care about their morals when
Don't say nobody. There are a lot of fans
nobody,
that
but
not happy with
there's a
this.
guy who's committed a crime or done something probably on every team.
I believe it's a legacy play, right? It's a legacy move.
Yeah.
I need to be known for something, and at some point in time, the risk reward is the same legacy.
As an owner.
Yeah, hold on. And it's the same time as LeBron did. LeBron made the same calculus. Do I want to be known for the decision? Forever. I'm going to go back and make it right. My legacy is on the line. If Jimmy Haslam is the only owner to win a championship for the Cleveland Browns, that has cemented him.
You're right. Now, that's his legacy.
Yes, his.
The only legacy that you control
is yours.
That's
it.
And so
Sure.
I do understand the all-in move got to win. As a fan, will I celebrate a Browns Super Bowl? You bet your ass I will.
That's right.
But I have to do the mental calculus of, is this the way I wanted it to happen?
Of course, and as you alluded to with the Cubs in 2016,
right.
I felt that.
Doesn't that have a little bit of an asterisk next to it?
I mean, I don't know about asterisk, but yeah, when they traded for Chapman, I was like, oh,
I know how
I don't
much
really
you
want him on the
respect
team.
women, Bull.
Yeah.
I know how much.
It bothered me.
And by the way, it bothers me that we're even blending Aroldis Chapman, who was a pig.
Yeah.
And there was no question about what he did.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, guys, I believe isn't a bad human being. I don't want anybody to think that I'm sitting here judging him as a bad human being. I think that he made some bad decisions, and I also stated this early on. I think Deshaun, in Deshaun's mind, why wouldn't anybody who sees this want this? And once they see it, they're going to want it, and then it's just a matter of running the bases after you hit the ball. I think he thought it was a foregone conclusion that every woman that gave him a massage was going to say, "Wow, Deshaun, I'd like to get with you." I think that was his big mistake. But he's not a sexual predator. I've never thought that for a second.
Yeah.
I don't think that he forced anyone to do anything that they didn't want to do. Did things happen? I believe they did. I also believe that there was at least one woman and maybe more, and again, no facts, just my opinion, that wanted nothing to do with it. And she was egreged, and she was impacted emotionally, and she left the room in tears. And he was like, "Oh, look, if I did something that bothered you." Well, you did. And that's why I would have said early on, it's clear to me now, although it wasn't in the moment, that I did things that really distressed some of these women. Right. And for that, I'm going to make it right, and I apologize, and I will get better as a human being. And that's just the way I think.
His lawyers probably advised him not to, but I agree. I agree with you.
No, I know they probably did tell him, "Deshaun, you can't do that."
That statement's coming at the end.
But sometimes you tell lawyers, "I don't give a crap about that."
No, it can't come now, right? Because
I get that.
It can't come now.
But I think there'd be more respect for him if he had done that.
But I agree with you said, right? I agree with what you said, right? That's probably the way the trajectory of this entire escapade has gone, right? But now he's in the midst of playing the game out. But I want to bring you back to your point here.
Okay.
Because we got 4 different opinions here, right? And you're probably the most liberal, most conservative when it comes to talking about how this thing was constructed.
I'm fiscally conservative.
For the Browns, right?
Okay, like with my money, I'm
sitting
very
here too because I run an organization. I have to be responsible for what we do, right?
You're fiscally conservative?
Yeah, but here in this sports arena here, I'm just tired. I just want to try.
Right.
I've tried it the other way. I've played it the other way.
How
Played
old
it
are
the
you?
long way. I'm 59.
I'm 57.
So
I'm just as tired.
I played it the long way.
Bro, I'm all scar tissue.
I've seen
from
the
these
best.
teams.
I've seen them all here. I was alive when they won in '64. Right.
Right.
I was here when the Sipe days.
Right.
The Bernie days.
If they don't win though, and the future gets really ugly because of the things that
let me just tell you, I said since they've been back here, Jay, they've been really ugly. They've been ugly.
They
Can't be worse.
You know what?
They've been ugly.
Really, we were just turning that corner.
But see, I
was proud of the Browns for the first time
I at least saw
2 years
Browns
ago.
winning. There are a lot of people here that have never seen them win a thing.
Well, like G. Bush, I think you were too young to remember the last really win. Do you remember the late 80s?
Man, I started with 87, 88, 89.
Okay, so that was your indoctrination.
Yeah.
So it almost spoiled you. So it's almost worse for him because his jump into the game was like, wow, this is easy. Like Dan Marino going to the Super Bowl and jump.
95.
He thought he would be back all the time.
Right. 95, I was the first year in high school. The team left, right? So I played high school, didn't even watch pro football. Couldn't watch pro football. There's a lost generation of people who only know about laughing at the Browns, clowning the Browns,
Yeah,
doing
that's
the Browns. I've seen the terrible towels. I've seen people in my school with the hoodays and the steel curtain. And my thought process is this: I understand fully that there's going to be some people that feel like Jay, and that's fine. You should. Some people. It's what you should. You don't have to explain that. Like when you're talking about, there's going to be a segment that feels like you. There's going to be a segment that says, "Well, I know Baker wasn't that good, but we know he wasn't good, but I still don't think they would have spent this money." Then we got people. He like, "Hey, I'm gonna do what all it takes." Bulls like, "Listen, he was terrible." There's going to be when this season
I didn't say Baker was terrible. I just said he's average.
When this season starts, you do realize something. This is why it's great on this show. When the season starts, there'll be 25%, 20% feel like you, 20 like you, 20 right on down the line. And we're gonna have to sit in tailgates. We're gonna have to be in chat rooms, and we're gonna have to figure out this thing together. Because at the end of the day, what's
it's good debate.
And what's funny though is you're right. At the beginning of the season, it's gonna be 2020, 2020.
Yeah.
But if Deshaun
change
plays
week to
and
week.
balls out and we get to the playoffs, it's going to be 95-5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if Deshaun plays and we're 3-11 saying what happened, it's going to be 95-5.
Right.
So that's why I always say, like, I think that good, healthy debate, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And you just touched on something that I think is very important. You shouldn't have to defend where you stand. And I want to apologize because earlier in the show when we got heated, I did something that I hate when I see it being done. I disrespected other people's opinions at the time. And I try to never do that. I try
we
to
all
always,
get feisty in the moment.
No, I know, but
it's not personal.
I do think, like, so we've been doing this show 2+ months. I think that's the first time that we crossed a line.
Jay,
I do. I thought we crossed the line. And with First Take, what I noticed was there were a handful of shows where there was a line and nobody had to know where it was, but everybody said, yeah, that went over.
Jay, newsflash. I'm in politics. It don't bother me.
No, I know it doesn't bother
think we crossed the line, Jay.
No, it's not supposed to.
I want the audience to know one thing, right?
It's real.
We're 5 different individuals here that have 5 different takes on it, right?
I didn't think it crossed the line.
And here, I didn't take any disrespect from it at all.
You may not have, but it crossed my line of respectful conversation.
I want you to voice your opinion, so I want to understand where you're coming from.
I want that real.
Right?
I want the real.
I want the real.
I want the real.
Right.
I think we gave it.
Yeah, that's the real.
But I do think, and I think the one show that everybody knows was the Pistol Pete Maravich. When it was the greatest. It was one of the greatest on-air disses I've ever been a part of, and it was also one of my most embarrassing moments when Jalen Rose asked Skip if he averaged 1.2 points per game in his high school career. Yeah. The debate was super heated, and Skip went where he never should have gone, and he asked Jalen, "How many championships did you win?" You're talking to a professional athlete.
Yeah.
You're talking to not just a professional athlete, but an accomplished professional athlete. Like, this guy wasn't there for a cup of coffee. He had a resume.
Yeah.
And when he asked him, how many championships did you win? I thought that was about as low as it could get. And then Jalen responded, is it true you averaged, I think it was 2.1. 2.1 points a game your senior year in high school. So he saw his disrespectful comment and dropped the nuclear mic. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, don't we need to go to a commercial break right now? Now, it went for another 15 minutes with no commercial breaks. But that was a day where the line was crossed. Now, I know I didn't make personal attacks on you guys, but I felt like I crossed my own line about respect. The one thing I love about this show is we have real, honest conversation. There were times Skip and Stephen A would amend their position so it made good TV. Okay? Almost never Skip. But there were times where Stephen A would say in a meeting, I can argue the other side of that. And I've always said, and we've had this discussion here, I don't think we should have those discussions. I think we should have real discussions with disagreement. It's okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's disrespectful.
Right.
And I thought, for me,
as long as it's respectful.
That's Bull's slogan. As long as it's disrespectful.
There were things that I did physically that I would take back.
Yeah.
And
we
so,
all got caught up in the moment. It was fine. No,
we did. I know.
Yeah, I
but
don't think
I think we should know where that line is and try to adhere to it.
I'll tell y'all what. None of y'all can hurt my feelings. Hey, hold on. Watch this. Watch this. I used to do YouTube videos. Now I'm on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Y'all say whatever you want to me. As long as them checks keep cashing.
Well, you still do YouTube videos.
And by the way, I'll tell you
I'm still doing YouTube
something.
videos.
I think the bottom line from where this conversation started is, I think, and I'm, as all of you know, I'm not a patient person. I don't like to wait. But the truth is, we're not going to know for sure that this trade was definitely good or definitely bad unless Watson wins the Super Bowl this year.
How many reasons
we're going to have to wait a few years?
How many reasons we got before?
We got two sponsored segments we got to get in.
All right, here we go.
And good bet, bad bet. We're going to start with the Ultimate 5. Did you make it, Jay?
I just missed.
Tough.
I made my first one today.
The Ultimate 5, though, is sponsored by Roundstone Insurance. Roundstone offers a better alternative for affordable quality health care. For more than a decade, Roundstone Insurance has been saving small and mid-sized businesses money, an average of 20%. Yeah, 20%. Contact us today to learn how you can get great health care benefits that your employees will love and save money, too.
Roundstone!
That's new. That's all new.
That's all new off the top. Hey, we're going to work on that next week. We're going to get that together, though.
And you know what? Your hair is getting some nice texture to it, bro.
So
what's going on? Are you growing it out?
No. It's just a little something.
You got the fruits and berries in it.
Just fruits and berries.
Fruits and berries.
It's getting there.
So today's top 5 was inspired by the Drew League. We showed you guys the highlights before you saw the unbelievable atmosphere at the Drew League. So I was thinking with the NBA wanting to implement its midseason tournament now, where could you play games to get kind of the same atmosphere of the Drew League?
Okay.
Like baseball does with its Field of Dreams games
just like
Iowa.
Field of Dreams.
I
was thinking
games.
5 out-of-the-box places that could be
I would love it
cool
if something like this could happen.
Rucker Park's going to be on that list.
Rucker Park is on the list.
Yeah.
Do not
Let's
worry.
see
So
what's
some are
happening.
indoor, some are outdoor, and you have to kind of envision the
Rucker Park
atmosphere.
would be
But
number
we'll
one for me.
It has to.
Rucker Park would be amazing. We'll get to that. It's on the list. All right, let's start with number 5. I want Cameron indoor for an NBA game with the Duke UNC crowd as for the
I'm
two
not
NBA teams.
No, because they're not going to be as passionate
I'm not
about
sure.
that.
No, but
NBA
that's what I'm saying.
crowd
The fans
would
have to
draw
be
it.
on side with that.
Have the Hornets ever played a game there?
Not that I recall.
I know sometimes the Celtics used to play in Hartford.
And Hartford, yeah. I played in Hartford City.
And the mall.
It was awful.
It was the mall.
It was awful.
Hartford Civic Center was in a mall.
It was awful.
Horrible. Okay,
That was a
yeah,
bird.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. If you could somehow create that same the Cameron Crazies atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, but
But it's a small gym. You look at the Drew League. It's only a 2,000 person gym. Cameron's bigger, but it doesn't. They're just there to enjoy it.
Right.
If you got 5,000 super passionate NBA fans, I think we could replicate it. This next one, I think would be awesome. Steve, take it. The Hoosiers gym in Indiana.
Wow.
Yes, let's bring it back. Run it back, Kinky Fieldhouse.
Did you think of that one on your own?
I did. Yes, you're
Okay,
impressed.
that's a winner for me.
That's a good call.
That would be fantastic.
Are they going to let black people in? Have they changed? Have they amended the rules since that was shot? We would like to be.
They're going to play the game, aren't they?
Well, if
they're not going to let black people in, that's going to be a boring ass game.
In the movie, the team they beat for the title had black players on.
Yes, it did. You're right.
Hey, they was barnstorming
So
at the time.
now that
Chitwood, baby.
gym,
That
I
would be
bet
good.
that gym holds 500.
Oh, it's hot
tiny.
too.
I've
No
been there.
AC,
It's tiny.
no
It's really
HVAC,
small.
no HVAC there at all.
No.
At all.
All the doors will be propped open.
Yeah, no.
Everybody on the stands.
Old school.
They'll be cleaning the floor with sweat. Every
They
10
have
seconds.
those 1960 Southern white fans.
Oh my God.
So you would make the Hoosier. I mean,
Yeah.
the Pacers would have to be in the game.
Yeah, it could be anybody. Yeah, Pacers would be in it. I just think playing in that Hoosiers gym, the
I
nostalgia.
don't think IU's ever played at Hinckley.
No.
But Butler does play there. Butler does play there.
No,
every once in a
but
while.
Nothing
IU.
says
No,
excitement
I know,
like
but I'm
Butler
saying
basketball.
Butler does play
Yeah,
there
but that
every
don't
once in a
count.
It's
while.
got a nice reputation.
That don't count.
Okay, I'm okay with these so far. What's number 3?
All right.
Number 3. Let's bring back the Sonics. Just put it in Seattle. Literally play anywhere in Seattle. You're going to get an unbelievable
I think
atmosphere.
Seattle's a great basketball town, and they should have never lost their team.
You're talking to a Sonic.
That's too big, though.
Right.
That's too big for like an event like this. I think the arena's too
let me tell you
big.
something. Sonics couldn't draw when they were in Seattle. Right?
Which is why they're no longer in
Be
Seattle.
clear.
Right.
Be
I
clear.
went to a WNBA game in Seattle in like 2008, and it was sold out.
Yeah.
But
packed.
The
that's all.
NBA made a terrible trade when they traded Vancouver and
You aren't
Seattle
kidding.
for Oklahoma City
Yeah,
and Memphis.
you aren't kidding.
Well, no,
There
no,
aren't
no,
many
the
missteps.
NBA
That
can
was
trade
awful.
No, let's get the facts right. The Seattle mayor and Seattle City Council overplayed their hand with the Sonics. That deal was there to be done, right? We're not paying for nothing. Oh, you're not? Okay. Where we leaving? No, I'm not.
I don't think Jason was talking about the semantics behind the decision.
I'm talking about
just swapping those two.
I spent 10 years going to Memphis and Oklahoma City.
Now that's a different story. But I'm just saying, if they had not
from a personal life standpoint,
that's right. I don't care about the mayor's.
If they had not overplayed their hand, right, they wouldn't even have this
conversation. And you're right, they definitely overplayed their hand.
They'll get a team.
Jason was telling before the show they have better hookers in Seattle.
Oh my God.
All right, number 2, Bull mentioned it.
He didn't
earlier.
say that. He did.
Rucker Park, New York City.
How's that not number 1?
Because when you see number 1, you'll understand why number 1 is number
by the
1.
way, yesterday.
Well, let's cut him some slack. Let's see what he has as number 1.
Yesterday, I was flicking through the chat. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I was flicking through the channels, and I saw a game being played at Rucker Park. I don't even know what this tournament was. I have no clue, but I stuck with it because I love watching games there.
Rucker and
it was so cool.
The history and everything else.
A lot of fans don't know.
I want to beat him up for that.
Yeah.
But he's telling us that when we see number 1, we're all going to be like, whoa.
Did you ever?
By the way, for those who don't know at home, that's a famous street court in New York.
Did you ever
Very
see
famous.
Rucker when the highlights when Dr. J played at Rucker?
Pee Wee Kirkland.
Oh, it was just unbelievable. The crowd. That Alpha building. It was just ridiculous.
They'd be out the complexes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They'd have to build stadium-type seating.
Hey, watch.
Because there's no way they could play it with the seating that's available there now.
Watch.
You'd have a riot.
If you want to go see somebody go off, go watch Kevin Durant go off.
Kevin Durant,
at
Rucker Park.
Now, I did
Unreal.
see that. I did see that.
He's just shooting from half court.
You talk
on these
about
boys.
like those that were there being completely lit and just can't believe what they're looking at.
Yeah.
He just bombing on board.
I want to see one.
Number 1, the aesthetic. Anthony did not pick the greatest picture of this, but the courts at Venice Beach. You line up the entire. Yes, that would be unbelievable.
Is that the scene from? Is that the place White Men Can't Jump was filmed?
Yes.
You was doing so
You
good.
can't put that ahead of Rucker Park.
I would listen.
I'm fine with that number 2.
Listen, if your only concerns now is switching 1 and 2, then I did pretty good
That's
this
not
time.
even Barry.
I loved your first 2.
You could have said Barry Farms down in the DMV area.
That's terrible.
Come on, man. Is this weightlifting? I only know Venice Beach for weightlifting and doing push-ups.
Who talked you into that?
Although White Men Can't Jump is a great movie.
I played at Rucker Park and Venice Beach. Venice Beach was a way better run than Rucker Park was.
By the way, White Men Can't Jump holds up as well as any movie from that era.
They're making a new one.
I heard
No,
yeah, they are.
don't
I
do
heard they
that.
are.
Not a
Who
fan.
they casting?
Oh, the new Top Gun movie was
Bring
really
Snipes
good.
back? Snipes and Woody?
I'll look it up who they're testing. They're
Snipes
casting,
never
but they
got
haven't
over that
announced who it
IRS
is.
thing, man.
All right, we got to get to what the internet says now.
What
We're
does the
making a
internet
little
say?
switch here, but as always, we never switch our sponsor for what the internet says. It is continually PCC Air Force.
They're the original. They're the OGs.
The OGs, yep, looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits. PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for positions starting at $18 and up, plus get full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more.
PCC, PCC, PCC.
One.
I don't know that they would approve of that.
No, you took that was a strike. That was a strike right down the plate.
I saw
I
you
actually
missed
think
on
you
that
had
one.
That's a better voice than I thought you had, I'll be honest.
Get nice deep
Impressed.
range.
I used to sing in karaoke all the time when I was in my 20s.
So we were going to do Cam Smith
Oh
memes.
my God, can I tell you stories?
So what are we doing now?
What we
We're
doing?
going to do
Where we
Cam
at?
Smith memes for what the internet says, but with the Cavaliers.
Oh, we're not?
The Cavaliers released new uniforms. We didn't get to it earlier, and
Let's get
unfortunately,
to it.
Cavaliers trump Cam Smith winning the Open. So let's take the first tag board here, Steve. These are a new
By a
look
show
at the
of hands
uniforms.
on the panel, so we look at them.
Yeah.
Everybody raise your hand if you love these, and then come out to the 5-shot.
I like them, but I'm not saying
No,
love.
love. Love is the first.
Love, no.
What about like?
Like.
I'll go like.
Decent.
Hate.
I don't care about uniforms.
Hate? Oh, you hate them?
I don't hate them.
Bro,
I don't hate them.
they look like pajamas. I literally thought this was a joke. I swear to you, I thought it was a
I
joke.
thought they were
It's a
the
cat
summer league
snuggie.
jerseys.
I thought the same thing. Or practice jerseys.
Well, it's funny you say that. Let's take this tag board, Steve. We asked the internet what they thought. First response. Looks like a
Like
practice
practice
jersey.
they do.
Let's cut to the next one.
I mean,
Anthony.
if
We got
Raiders
3
MF
more to
says
read
it,
real
it's got to
quick.
be true.
Summer league looking just awful. So we had 2 on the downside. Keep
The
going.
Coxer.
Anthony.
Love them.
White jerseys are fire. And lastly, I'm glad the blue is gone. Red, black, and gold is fire. So
Fire.
mixed bag of reviews.
I
None of us
never would
love
call
them.
those
We
fire.
had 2 likes, a hate,
Put those
and I don't
back up,
care.
Mikey. Put those back up.
Let's pick them apart.
Give us 1 sec. Yep.
We had 2 that liked them. You both.
Because you can't get wrong.
I don't like the black. I like the.
The black is the best.
It's funny. I like the red and the white.
I can deal with the C.
I can deal with C.
I don't need the white. I
like the white. I like the red. or whatever the hell.
Now the red one got a lot of practice jersey in it. It looked like you could flip that over and play shirts.
Everybody's got their own taste.
That's what I thought.
You
When
can
I saw-
flip-
You
that's
know
it.
what I have? The biggest problem
Black
is
is
there's
the
no
best one.
stripes on the uniform.
Yeah,
They're just
plain.
They got a lot.
I'm with Jason though. In the end, I don't really care.
Who cares? Why do we change them every year? Every year.
Yeah, it's true.
Yankees
Right here.
ever change uniforms? Mets
money.
ever change Cubs ever change uniforms?
No, but right
You know
here.
what they do.
I know.
That's why they
I'm
do
just
it.
tired of it. I'm tired of it.
I am too.
You know who do care about it? The
Players?
whitest cats. Them young kids.
Kids
Yeah.
care.
Darius Garland's like, yo, what jerseys we got this year?
Yeah,
They
right.
probably done
They
told
do
him,
care.
we going to change that next year for you, big dog.
But I am surprised. Like, you would think Nike taking over the uniforms that they would be.
I thought the
incredible.
same thing. I
Yeah.
thought now that Nike's going to be on there, they're not going to be trash.
Because the league got their hands on it, right? And the teams got their hands
Yeah,
on it.
but I would think, do you think
the-
Nike had approval?
No, I think the teams have to say on the direction they want to go. The league has to say on where it wants
Any
to go.
input from
If
Nike?
Nike's got their swoosh on it, they've
I
got
would
it.
know.
Well, they got to sign off on it. But here, let me just tell you this. So when you talk about the jerseys, Maryland women's basketball have 4 jerseys. They play 4 different
Crazy.
jerseys. 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Some
Guys,
four.
time out. We don't have much time. We got to get the final takes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
We gotta do
but
it.
you know what? I
Yes.
was going to start that, but
Yo?
McNuggets. Can we take McNuggets' camera real quick?
Did he die? He left? Oh, there you go.
He left the building.
What's up, guys?
You left the building. I'm like, where's he going?
We had a little emergency we had to go take care of. We're all good. Don't worry.
Final takes, Bull.
Yeah.
Go.
I was saving what I was going to talk about to tomorrow because I got to get to something else I was going to get to, and that's my weekend. I had an amazing weekend, and I just wanted to share some of the things I did this weekend. Number one, I went back to Jay's neck of the woods to go to the Sleepy Rooster again for
You
breakfast.
went back.
Major shout out to them. Their food is it's the best breakfast I've ever had. It never lets me down. I tried the chorizo hash. Oh my God. And then for dinner, I went to the best pizzeria in all of Northeast Ohio, Il Rione on West 65th. Just a fantastic dinner. I took my son and his buddy to go see Thor yesterday. We had a really nice time there. Shout out to Russ Sinkovich, former Monsters player, who is running a hockey camp, the Ohio Hockey Project in Lakewood, where they're teaching kids to skate. I took my son down for that this Sunday. We just had such a great weekend. And most importantly, today is my beautiful bride's birthday. My wife, Liz. I won't say how old she is.
She's
even though
29 today.
She doesn't really care. I could say her age, she wouldn't care, but I won't say it anyway. Happy birthday. I love you, and I'll see you for dinner in a little while.
Sounds like a great weekend.
It was fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay, let's get to my final take, which is this. 36 years ago, I got to bring this thing to a head. I'm reading about it. It is a problem. 2 of my former teammates and friends of mine seem to be still going at it. Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas arguing about this freaking all-star game that MJ swears he was done the big freeze out on. And I'm like this. Are we still talking about that? Are we still bothered by that? Now the funny thing, and I've said this on record, I think with Athletic. If they were, I know they were different teams, but I think if they were in close proximity to one another, they'd be friends. I like, we're still arguing about nonsense. Everybody's got, matter of fact, their kids are grown. And we're still talking about this game. What difference did it make? Look how much money everybody's made here. And I pick up the paper, not the paper, but the phone, and I get the story. And I'm like, they're still going on it. Now, I'm working on getting my boy Isaiah Thomas on this show here, right? And I'm gonna ask Zeke now, I think Zeke's ready to let it go. I'm wondering why my boy M is still carrying on with this. Let it go.
Can you get the 2 of them on together?
It's like, that'll be, It's just like how, when The Last Dance came out, my other good teammate, friends, Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen are bothered by this show. And I was talking to Horace. I'm like, Horace, relax. That was a long time ago. Why are you still on this? And some things just seem to still stay under their skin. And one day my hope is that we all can move past these things and just sometimes relish in the moment. We had a great run. Everybody here had a great run. There was nobody got diminished here. Right? And just enjoy that because here, truth be told, we're all closer to the end than the beginning.
It's true.
That's true. Now, did he really keep him off the All-Star team or the Dream Team?
He said he didn't do it. When I was playing with him in Detroit, he said he didn't do it. Now M swears he did it, right? And I was like, oh no, you mean if M kept him off the team?
Yeah.
No, M's never answered that question.
Yeah.
Right. I was just asking your opinion.
Well,
because you know both.
The one thing I know, M can carry a grudge. Yes, he can.
Well, we all know that.
Yes, he can.
So I think you kind of answered what you think.
Shout out to Isaiah. We need Zeke on the show. Come on now, stop playing. Come on now.
Well, my final take, I'm glad I held it. It was going to be the one I used last week, and I switched it up and went to the Old Timers game. And I wanted to save this one for today, and it fits perfectly in what we were talking about earlier. For those of you who have watched me and read me for the last 10 years or so, I hope it's pretty obvious that I don't typically speak in hyperbole. I don't try and have the hot take that gets, just to grab headlines. I truly, honestly believe Cleveland fans are on the precipice of a lot of excitement, and I believe within the next 5 years, the Browns will be in a Super Bowl and the Guardians will be in a World Series. I'd love to put the Cavs in there, but their most deficient position is still the most important position in the league in a wing, and I'm not sure how they address that, so I'm going to set them to the side just for a minute. But with the Browns and the Guardians, everything we talked about with Deshaun Watson, will they get there or not, I absolutely believe the Browns will be in a Super Bowl within the next 5 years with Deshaun Watson. And the Guardians have it all set up for the future. The farm system is probably in better shape than it's ever been. Certainly even going back to the 90s when they had all the resources that they needed to get the pieces that they needed. Then when you talk about the ownership piece and David Blitzer and Colleague coming in and that whole group kind of and sort of the transition I think you're going to see over the next 5 years or so. And I've said this before, ownership isn't going to come in. Minority owners aren't going to come in and start writing checks to cover the losses. But I hope that we'll start to see a transformation of that area around the stadium within the next few years. And just the way that this is ready to pop. And when you factor in the state of their farm system and what they have available in trade, and I don't know if you guys did it or not, we were going to talk the one day about pieces that are untouchable and pieces. Listen, this farm system is loaded. It's one of the best in baseball. Anything that they need, they have the opportunity now to go get. Juan Soto is not it. That's not what I'm talking about. But in the next couple of years, they will be in position to make that type of trade if they're ready to go. I think Cleveland sports fans have a lot of things to look forward to, and this is the start of something over the next 5 years. And I don't want to discount the Cavs entirely because I think they're really close too. All three teams could be really, really good at the same time, and that's exciting for the city.
From your lips to God's ears.
We'll see.
Man, listen, this is game-changing, man. And when I come in here, man, I'll tell you what. Leave your name at home and bring your pen game. Because here, this get real. See, in about 5 years, he said the Cavs might win. 5 years, the Guardians, people moving and shaking. But I'm going to tell you, in 5 years, y'all going to look back on this, win, lose, or draw, and say, bro, that win wasn't nothing real like that. You ain't got people in the industry that's writers and people that got business and mayors and people that's just regular dudes off the street, people who've been in the industry. When you notice something here, when people come on here, they real. They don't come on here as professional athletes. They don't come on here as reporters. They come as themselves. They talk the talk. They walk the walk. They come in. You get personals. You get insight into who that person is, and it's the realest show in the game. You're not getting that. Y'all could prognosticate on whether the Browns go 9-6. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. They trying to get down to the brass tacks. When we talk about the bottom line. And I will say this about the Deshaun Watson coverage. This show is covered it the best because you know why? It gave everybody an opportunity to talk how they want to talk and get into what they need to get into. And no matter what anybody on this panel say, the best thing about it is we gonna all dap each other up, shake hands, get up out of here, go eat some good food, and we gonna be texting about the next show, laughing and joking because it ain't about that. You know what I'm saying? When you really got a bond with somebody and you understand ain't no malice and nothing, it ain't nothing but a conversation. So for the rest of the people, please go out and copy it if you can, because I'm going to tell you what, this thing is smoking.
Get them subscribers.
Yeah. And let me get them subscribers too. Hit that notification bell. Stop playing around with us. We need 1,000. Quit playing, bro.
Well said. Very well said. Anybody's had a family disagreement?
We're 12 away, by the way, from 10,000. So if we get 12 in the next 3 minutes, hurry up.
Come on now.
Tune
Hit
in.
that button, bro.
Act before 1:10 Eastern time today. Normally we just go on, but I want to comment on the one. I think that if you've ever been involved in a family disagreement, you know afterwards it's all
That's
hugs
all
and
love.
loves.
It's all love.
So that's exactly what's going on here. Wow. I can't take my hat off enough to Major League Baseball. Last night in the Major League Baseball draft, 4 of the first 5 players selected were black. Why does that matter? It matters because for the sport to appeal to everyone, there has to be players on the field that look like everyone. And for years, Major League Baseball has been on sharp decline with number of black players in the game. The game has been taken over by Latin players, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But for anyone that doesn't believe that initiatives and programs can work, I'll tell you how they work. About 10 years ago, when baseball really first caught on to this trend, and they said, we've got to do something, they started the RBI program, which is Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities. There's several programs that Major League Baseball is tied to. Play Ball is another one. The initiative is to provide ballparks and funds to bring kids, black kids from the inner city back to the game. 2 years in a row now, 17% of the players drafted were black. That is a huge increase from where they were even 5 years ago. It's happened because Major League Baseball has set it as a priority. Not to say the things that people want to hear and not to do the things that are good public PR. Major League Baseball and all of their cities and all of their teams got behind this initiative. And that's why it worked. And I told you last week that on Tuesday of last week, I went to our RBI program here in Cleveland. And it's probably the most I've smiled on a baseball field in the last 10 years. And that's saying something because every time I step foot on a field, I have a smile on my face. But watching these kids from the inner city not just discover baseball, but fall in love with it and also be very good at it, initiatives work. And you need to get behind them. So kudos to Major League Baseball. Real change, guys.
You're right.
Real change.
It was huge. I think it was the first time it was ever 4 out of the first 5 players.
First time ever.
17% is huge.
17 is a big upgrade from where they were. They still have ways to go to get back to where they were in their peaks, but that's pretty damn good. We're out of time. Where did the time go?
Flew by.
This was one of the fastest shows I think we've
of all time
been a part of. We're back tomorrow, 22-hour break. I hope you enjoy it. Do something that brings joy into your life. We'll see you back here 11 sharp, and Bull will have a different T-shirt on, I promise.
I can't force you to
Can
be
I run
right.
that one tomorrow?
You might run it.
You can if you like.
Hey, Jason, can I borrow your car, dog?